So I don't know why I can't fix my mic to the right mic right now. But anyway, can you guys hear me at least? Everybody hear me now at least? Yes? Am I back? Okay. All right. Anyway, let's jump back into this. Let's get moving. Little technical difficulties. It happens sometimes. Technology. So yes, Timmy Kennedy, who the fall from grace, because yes, it turned out Tim Kennedy, we learned a lot of lessons about lying about your service with Tim in the military, stolen valor. And this was a huge expose, initially led, of course, by Brent Tucker, our friend Brent Tucker, who put out this massive episode. This made massive waves when it first came out. And we all that are familiar with the story saw what happened then. And yes, Trans Tim Kennedy is in the chat tonight, hanging out as well. He's been around forever. Okay, we're not going to spend too much time on that. Just wanted to start with that because, yes, that is how the year started for us on the channel. But what I want to get into next is sort of where things started for the country. And when we kicked off 2025, new administration, Elon Musk. We all remember Elon Musk and Doge, right? That was the big thing when we started the year, and I wanted to take a little trip down memory lane with Elon Musk and Doge. So let's watch some clips. Let's work our way through this here.
In news, Elon Musk used heavy drugs while becoming close to Trump, according to new reports. Musk told confidants that he was taking so much ketamine it was affecting his bladder, according to reports, which also said that he took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms. The alleged drug use overlapped with his campaign activity last year on behalf of Trump, with an endorsement in July followed by $250 million to help elect him. Read more about the report at Forbes.com.
So yes, we should have all known. We thought Elon was just autistic. Turns out he was just high as shit on every drug there is, which kind of makes more sense now about why Doge didn't do so well. It didn't pan out so well. And I want to take a little trip down memory lane with Doge. We all remember Doge, right? The big auditing program that was supposed to find all the fraud and USAID and all this crazy shit. And eventually, basically nothing happened from it. I'm sure they found fraud, but I think the only thing that really happened from it was they ushered in Palantir into all government apparatuses and softwares and things like that. So that's fantastic. But also, just remember how ridiculous. I mean, everything's been ridiculous this year, but this type of stuff was going on beginning of the year.
Part 3. Here's the interview with Elon Musk and the rest of the Doge crew. We finally asked the one question on our mind. Who's big balls?
It's me. That should be obvious.
Why do they call you big balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Yeah.
So what do you
LinkedIn
do?
is so cringe.
What does big balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million. You're like, okay, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. And
yeah, like what?
So turns out that hiring Elon Musk and a bunch of 19-year-old kids named Big Balls may not have been the best way to go about uncovering all the fraud, waste, and abuse that's going on in the government. As we saw, Doge fell apart. No fraud was found. And Elon and Trump, I don't know if you guys remember this, ended up having quite the fallout over the failures of Doge. You guys remember this? When Elon tweeted, "Time to drop the really big bomb. That real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. And it turns out that was true, as we'll, of course, get into the Epstein files later. Excuse me. Also, I'd like to know, how did Elon Musk know that? I'm assuming Elon Musk had seen the Epstein files and knew that Donald Trump was in there. But anyway, big fallout. Elon pretty much left the administration. I think he's sort of back on the fringes now. But that was sort of how we kicked the year off with the Trump administration. And how is Elon doing now? Well, if you guys haven't heard, Elon Musk is now worth $754 billion. $754 billion. He's probably going to be a trillionaire by the end of the year. So that's great. Again, that brings up a lot of questions of how much wealth should one person be able to accrue. And of course, everybody will call you a socialist if you think maybe there's something that's probably, maybe it's not good for one person to have $1 trillion, but you can't say that because MAGA will lose their minds, right? Because if you think that maybe some of that wealth should be siphoned off somewhere else, you're a socialist or communist. So anyway, yes, so that's where Elon ended up. So rough start to the year, but eventually did quite well. Now we got to move into, yes, the rest of the Trump administration, and we'll go line by line. And man, we've done a lot of content on all these jokers. Yes, the goof troop, I like to call them. We'll have to, of course, kick it off. And guys, we'll hit super chats as we go. We won't wait till the very end, okay? I want it to be more a fun conversation between all of us as we're going. Yes, the goof troop. Of course, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth. Go down the line. We're going to talk about all of them, all their fuck-ups, all the hilarious stories. And of course, the guy who's taken the biggest beating out of anybody on this channel, Kash Patel. Yes, I'll see you in Valhalla, brother. Cash App Patel, Crash App Patel, 1,000 different nicknames for old Cash. He has had a rough year as the FBI director, turns out. We've done quite a bit of content on him, and we're going to go through some of my videos here. We have this video here, as you can see, named FBI's Kash Patel should be fired immediately. And we all remember some of Kash Patel's greatest hits, right? Like, we all remember this one.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
So yes, and then also, oh no, that's not that one. Where is our Kash Patel saying he doesn't, that no one's in the Epstein files? Oh, it's not in this one. That's okay. We'll get to it. So yes, Kash Patel. Let's think about all of Kash Patel's blunders before we move forward. Okay. Yes, obviously the Epstein files, or the big one, that's been stemming from the very beginning of the administration. Of course, he kicked it off, really showed his worth with the Charlie Kirk investigation. Of course, we'll get to that story a little bit later. As we saw there, really struggled, showed up on the FBI jet, hit the tarmac in Provo, Utah, refused to get off the plane because he couldn't find his FBI windbreaker. Refused to leave the plane until someone brought him a women's size medium windbreaker, still refused to get off the plane until 2 SWAT officers came and gave him the patches that he needed for his jacket. So he felt badass enough to get out and do his photo ops. And then, of course, with the Charlie Kirk, well, we'll talk more about his fuck ups with the Charlie Kirk situation when we actually cover the Charlie Kirk story itself. And then what else has he done? Of course, the Washington, D.C. shooter. What happened there? He announces to the public, after the shooter's already in custody, that there's a full-on manhunt looking for the shooter. And this, of course, was after he didn't have the shooter correctly during Charlie Kirk investigation twice. And then the third time was Brown University, another shooting that just happened recently where he got it wrong again, where he put out the wrong person who was an Army veteran for the entire world to see. And it's just as if he can't get right. And instead of taking accountability, what he decided to do, of course, was go on a podcast with his country music sensation girlfriend. Now, you may think Alexis is the country music sensation, but it turns out Kash Patel is also quite the country music artist himself. Let's take a watch. Cockeyed Toady.
Cockeyed Toady wears his pleather to the Vegas club. Pretends he's a badass, but really he's just a little slug. Now Cockeyed Toady's just working on his next big flub. Well, you can't be a tough guy if your job's zipping up Trump's flight, hiding Epstein's files and tweeting at the FBI. The agents don't respect you cause you shifted like your little bug eye. Cockeyed Toady eats spaghetti at the good restaurants, acting all racist so they like him at the Patriot Front. But Cockeyed Toady won't ever be accepted by that bunch. Now Cockeyed Toady turned his eye on the ADL. Little drama queen slammed the SPLC as well. He and racist Musk hate the Jews, as you can tell. Cockeyed Toady used to go on a Nazi podcast and raise charity money for the Jan 6 sad sacks. He thinks he's tough, but he can come kiss our ass.
All right. So I told you Alexis is not the only country music sensation in that relationship. Cockeyed Toady is also dropping hits. And yes, like I had mentioned before, in this video here, let's take a little look. FBI personnel eventually found Patel a jacket belonging to a female, because he's so tiny, special agent, but the director noticed two areas did not have Velcro patches attached, according to the agent. After two members of an FBI SWAT team took patches off their own uniforms and ran them over to Patel, he finally disembarked the aircraft, the report claims. So yes, Kash Patel. He is got to be one of the most impressive government officials I think we've ever seen. And you guys want to watch another one? That's not the only one I got. You guys want to watch FBI's? I've got two of them. I've got two Kash Patel AI music bangers. You guys want to watch the second one? Yeah, okay, we should. They're both good. All right, let's watch FBI's here.
Yeah, honey, my baby. All into me. Yeah, honey, that be all to me. Yeah, hey. Welcome to my FBI's. A flippy eyeball surprise. I'm focused on catching bad guys. Just flying the friendly skies. Don't be staring in my FBI's. I fired all the talented guys. Whip by my honey pot pies. Tweet into the bureau surprises. An agent now comes last, announcing things real fast. That's my style, I'm Director Cass. Look into my FBI eyes, black leather on my wee little thighs. Lucky as a mic, got jet flies, loyalty to just one guy. Look into my FBI eyes, crooked like most wanted guys. Tiny like pocket size, hiding all the Epstein files. Yo, come and get on his private jet to a big event to see his girl set. Taxpayers lament, but she hot baby bad. She do not fret that his eyes be bent. He's shopped and cuffed, was locker stuff. Ain't calling Trump's bluffs, cause he gives him stuff. If he sound in a huff and you done had enough, then he say that's tough, he's about to get rough. Welcome to my FBI. My list of foes down inside. Some stopping bad terrorist guys. None arrested, so maybe it's lies. Don't be mad at how I downsize. Had to snuff out some liberal spies. Now my caviar is always supplied, and all my people pray that I'm fired. Look into my FBI, black leather on my wee little thighs. Lucky as my Issa Kiev jet flies, loyalty to just one guy. Look into my FBI, crooked like most wanted guys. Tiny like guys, pocket size, hiding all the Epstein files. Yeah,
Now, if you guys want to see more of their stuff,
Really hate that sad loser, Mr.
See if I can minimize this. Oh, here we go. Let me get out of the way so you guys can see this. So, Mr. Newberger's AI Funnies. That's where these come from. And look, here's the deal, man. I know, we all know AI is going to kill us all and take over the world and ruin humanity eventually, right? But at least in the meantime, AI can bring us gems like those two things. So, yeah, we got that going for us. Excuse me. All right, let's keep moving. We'll move past Cash. Cash, we know, man, he's just the easiest punching bag in the world. Let's move on to another one of Trump's goof troop members. And, man, he's had probably just as many fuck-ups as Cash Patel. And that is our friend, yes, Pete Hegseth. Yes, old Whiskey Leaks. As we know, Pete Hegseth, sorry, more blacked out than the Epstein files on a regular basis. Pete has had a very, very rough year, it's turned out. A lot of different controversies. Kicked it off with just right when he started, if you don't remember this one, Pete Hegseth faces new allegations of alcohol abuse and misconduct. No way that Pete Hegseth is abusing alcohol. And says, yes, Pete Hegseth, President Trump's pick for defense secretary, is facing new allegations of alcohol abuse and misconduct as the Senate prepares to vote on his confirmation. That is how Pete kicked off. That's how he kicked off his tenure as Secretary of Defense. Of course, Secretary of War now. We spent $2 billion changing the names on all of the signs around Washington, D.C. so that he could feel more badass. But what else did we have? Remember this one? Yes, Whiskey Leaks, Signal Gate. We may have forgot about this one, didn't we? Yeah, this one was not good when it happened. If you guys don't remember what happened here, it turns out all of Trump's cabinet was using Signal to pass on strategic tactical strikes that were going to happen in Yemen. And they accidentally added, I forget the... what was it? Washington Post or some leftist reporter. They accidentally added them to the Signal chat and sent all of those plans to a random reporter. That made the news. They, of course, ended up blaming that on Mike Waltz, who was then fired, fellow Green Beret, by the way, because it turns out he was actually working behind Donald Trump's back with Bibi Netanyahu to try to get us in war with Iran. Really good picks all around in this cabinet by Donald Trump, obviously, as we're going to see. He was able to shrug this one off. He was able to shrug off the Whiskey Leaks, shrug off the Signal Gate a little bit as it went. And then what was the next one? Yes, you guys remember this? The big general speech. He came before everybody to let everybody know that we're here for war fighting, not fat troops.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test.
How's it going?
It sucks!
Keep going then, my man.
I am going!
You want to be on the show?
Yes!
Well, let's do it!
I am!
Do it harder!
I'm trying!
Push it.
I am pushing!
Push it harder!
I hate
Yes,
this!
sweat it out!
I'm trying!
All right. So, look, that one, yes, if you guys don't remember, he recalled every general from around the entire world. The entire world had to all fly in to Washington, D.C. so that Secretary Hegseth could give all of those generals a lecture on warfighting and combat readiness. Now, look, I don't have a huge problem with the initiatives moving forward to make the military, more fit. But the idea that a National Guard major, untabbed National Guard major, had the audacity to pull in essentially all of the top combat experienced generals around the world for a lecture, bold move. I mean, you got to give it to him. Didn't garner a whole lot of respect out of the military for that one, but it's Hegseth. He's hanging in there. He's trying his best. All right, it's not going that great. Now, what also has happened recently with old Pete? Now we've moved up more to, again, there's been a lot of controversies with Pete. What was that one that just happened a couple weeks ago, guys? Oh yeah, the war crimes. Whoops. Yeah, we've been just bombing the shit out of Venezuelan fishermen. And look, maybe they're terrorists, maybe they're not. I don't know. Who knows? But he's been struggling. I would pull up the South Park episode, but I will get copyright strike, but I can't. But yes, the South Park episode, also fantastic. But I wanted to take a little trip down memory lane, recent memory lane, and for us to remember, this just happened.
I watched that first strike lock. As you can imagine, at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do. So I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting.
No, here.
I'm in danger.
By the way, so you guys know, I do all of my own editing. All right. And so I'm kind of proud of some of these things. All right. Some of these things are pretty good when it comes to editing. But yes, what you saw there is Pete Hegseth, when we found out about the boat strikes that, yeah, maybe they're war crimes, maybe they're not. What did he immediately do? Yes. Blamed it on his subordinates. Pete Hegseth says, I watched the first strike, but I'm so busy, I had to take off and leave and let my subordinates handle it after that. So I do, you got to appreciate that type of leadership in the military, right? Where both Donald Trump and Secretary Hegseth, when pressed, rather than sticking up for their subordinates who are carrying out the orders that they tell them to, immediately throw them under the fucking bus. Good stuff. You got to love that. So who says Pete is misunderstood? Yeah, he might be. He might be misunderstood. Okay, let's keep moving. We're still moving through Trump's cabinet. We got a lot to get through tonight, all right? And of course, we got to talk. We got to talk about Danny Boy. Yes, Dan Bongino, who eventually had enough, threw in the towel 48 hours before the Epstein files were released. We haven't heard much from Dan since. We actually didn't really hear much from Dan at all during his entire tenure. As we all know, Dan was coming in and he was going to, bring accountability to the government. He was going to expose all the corruption. Yeah, turns out he didn't do much. He didn't do much, if anything at all. I'm not sure what he did. I know he helped redact the Epstein files. We've seen his emails talking about that. But what else? Oh, yeah. He did have some big statements. And we'll hit some super chats after Dan here, guys. There was some good statements from Dan, though. All right, here was one recently.
That's right. What cause is dear to your heart?
Cause is dear to my Israel. Defense of Israel.
Hey, Dan, there's actually a really easy answer to that you should use every single fucking time. And the answer to that question is America. Duh.
So, yes, the one thing Dan had to offer was during an interview, during his entire tenure, was what causes most dear to Dan's heart? Yes, Israel. Defense of Israel. First and only thing that popped into his brain. For those of you at home, when somebody asks you, and just in general, I mean, the question was not what political causes is dear to your heart. It was just in general. You know, it could be like saving orphan dogs, you know, I don't know, raising munchkin cats, could be anything. And of course, his response is Israel. Defense of Israel. Fucking weird, dude. Who talks like that? I'm not really sure. But yeah, okay. And again, I wish there was more to talk about with Dan, but didn't really do anything that we know of. He kind of just was there. He put out like 6 tweets, and then he quit. So maybe we'll find out more when he's hosting Fox and Friends weekends, when he leaves the FBI here in a couple weeks. Might get a better idea of what's really going on. Okay, let's hit some super chats, and then we'll keep moving through the episode. We got Pam Bondi next that we, of course, have to talk about. JD Delay says the new ink is sick, bro. Well, thank you very much. Me and JD have the same tattoo artist, so appreciate that, JD. Thank you, buddy, for being here. Susan says, Happy New Year. Wishing you continued success and blessings. Thank you, Susan. Thanks for always being here and being a part of the community. Johnny says, GTIF, all of EFT, Happy New Year into 2026. Another year of great content, absurdly outrageous, hilarious content from the government administration's officials and the like. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, brother. Gene says, did you see the recent Nikki MGT video with him and Candace trying to call you a clout-chasing Green Beret? No. Here's the thing with Nikki, man. That dude's obsessed with me. He's made I don't know how many videos on me. We never respond. Again, he's just trying to chase my name for views. It's not a big deal. I don't even watch the content. He's irrelevant. He's been doing it for fucking ever. And he does it with everybody in the veteran space. All right, Grand Bear says, Happy New Year, brother, and Godspeed to 500K. Thank you very much, Grand Bear. Grand Bear has been around, guys, so a lot of people here have been around for a long time. Grand Bear has been around forever. Jasmine as well. We definitely have a lot of people in here that have been around since, Jesus, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000. All right, let's keep moving. Bro, I know you've been stressing hard as a motherfucker the last few days and you made a few mistakes. No, I don't think I did. Absolutely not. I stand by everything I put out. 0 mistakes made. Let me be very fucking clear on that. Want to make sure you guys understand that. But regardless, you'll pull through. Like Barron said, never judge a man by his lowest moments. Not a low moment. In fact, probably one of my highest moments because I stood on my integrity, my laurels, and my morals when nobody else did. And I love that about myself. So, no, 0 mistakes made. 0 regret, by the way. Let me like really pound that in the sand for those of you who don't understand the channel or haven't been around Nate that long. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I stand on business. Whether you like it or you don't fucking like it or people attack me for it, don't care. Yeah, welcome to the channel. You must be new. All right. Good to join you guys tonight. I'm on holidays, block leave from infantry OSUT. Fun to see the world is still nuts. You know what's wild? Guys, I was going through the mall yesterday. 2 young kids, probably like 19 years old, just walking up past me, my wife, and my daughter. We were headed to round 1 to go play some games with my family. And just at the local mall, and had 2 young kids walk up and go, Are you Valhalla VFT? And I go, yeah. And they're like, oh shit, dude, we're on holiday leave from OSUT. We just graduated basic. So I got to take pictures with those dudes. Very, very cool. Love to see the young bucks that are, just finishing up basic, starting their journeys. You love to see that, man. Love to see that. All right. Only way out of this is November 7th, 2028. Thomas Massey, or we can then have these pedos running things, blackmailing blackmail by small haters. We're going to talk about that type of stuff at the end. Well, second part of the show, and we get into our predictions of who we think is potentially going to run in 2028. Bobby says, Benning of 2025, I felt like an E1 dating a hot stripper. End of 2025, I feel like an E3 with 30K in debt and a 5.1 Mustang in repo. Happy New Year's to you and the family. Bobby, I hope things are going better than that for you, man. You got engaged. You got a great looking family. I feel like things got to be going better than that, brother. You're crushing, man. All right, a couple more and we'll jump back in. Wilson says no actual evidence led to Qureshi, but they have immediately went to his home and Cash said they got the guy. He was the initial patsy, but they soon realized video would exonerate him. Switch to patsy number 2. We're going to talk about false flags a little bit later in the show as well. Thank you for handling the Kansas situation with class. She clearly confused you with the other Green Beret. That did happen, and it was unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's okay. The problem isn't right versus left. It's top versus bottom. We, the people, need to come together. Momster, 100%. That's also what we do here on this channel, is we like to really drive forward that exact sentiment. It's not left versus right. It's not Christian versus Muslim. It's not black versus white. It is we, the people, versus the corrupt establishment. And if we could ever actually get there as a whole society, we actually might be able to change things. But people are waking up. People are waking up. For sure. All right, a couple more and we'll jump back in. Talk about Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi. Yeah, she's been doing a great job. Eric says, bruh, Cash Patul. Dude is a complete simp, man. What world are we living in? It has to be upside down. What else could explain it? I don't know, man. Things are bizarre in 2025, aren't they? And they're going to get worse. I don't know about worse, but I just don't see things calming down and getting less fucking crazy in the short term. I feel like we have some growing pains to get through before we ever get there, but we'll see. All right, last one, and then we'll jump back into the show. Just watch Rambo First Blood. Whoo! All right, those Green Berets are real badasses. Thank you for your service. Please rank your order of the top 5 special operations forces. Semper Fi, keep up the great work. I have a bunch of videos, older videos on this. Top 5 soft units. Okay, well, we'll say, man, around the world or in general. I mean, it's pretty easy if you do the U.S. military, tier 1, right? You got Delta, you got DevGru, you got 24 STS. Those are just the 3 that are just better than everybody because that's how the progression works up, right? If you're a Green Beret and you want to go to the next level, you go to Delta. If you're a Navy SEAL, you want to go to the next level, you go to DevGru. Then below that, I think it's really mission dependent. I'm going to throw Green Berets in there at number 4 just because that's where I came from. And then after that, probably Air Force Special Operations. So CCTs, PJs, things like that. But, I mean, everybody's amazing in the U.S. Army when it comes to, special operations. All right, let's get back to Pam Bondi. Where were we at? Okay, Pam Bondi. Yes, here she is. Another. I chose a very flattering picture of her. You can tell that's how much I like her. Pam Bondi, Attorney General. If you didn't know her job, I wouldn't blame you because she doesn't do anything. Like, she literally does nothing. I don't know. They put her in as Attorney General, but she hasn't done anything. She's arrested nobody. And actually, I think I need to go back to my video I had pulled up on Danny Boy. Was it this one? Hold on one second, guys. It's actually got. Oh, here's what I want. So we pulled this up before, and I want you guys to see this because this is actually a real life tracker. I'll pull this off so you guys can see it. Actually, I'll just play it. These are the arrests made by Pam Bondi and, well, the FBI, I guess, but mainly the Justice Department in the last 10 months.
Accountability to them. The Russia hoax, 0. Benghazi, 0. COVID, 0. Fauci, 0. January 6th committee, 0. The Biden auto pen, 0. Fast and Furious, 0. Burisma, 0. Afghanistan withdrawal, 0. Epstein files, 0. Hillary emails, 0. Cocaine in the White House. Did you forget about that one? Yep. Didn't find anything about that. 0 on that as well. Doge findings, another fat goose egg. Nothing happened there. The Hunter Biden laptop, nothing there. The 2020 election, still 0. And Biden family corruption, we were promised. also zero. So after this tenuous and hardworking,
there you go. So literally everything. Now, and I'm not in agreement that a lot of those things like needed big investigations or anything. But to my point, those are all the things that this administration promised accountability for. And in, I guess we'll say 11 months, because she had to get appointed, literally nothing. No arrests, no nothing. Zero. I don't know what she's been doing for 11 months other than, let's say, was she redacting Epstein files? Was that like literally all that's been the sole focus for 11 months? Can anyone in the chat name anything Pam Bondi has done? Like one thing she's successfully accomplished as Attorney General in 1 year. Can anybody name one thing? Like, can we give her like just a little, can we give her any grace? Because I can't think of a single goddamn thing she's accomplished. The closest they got was indicting Comey and then immediately botching that. She's just there as a mouthpiece for Trump with the Justice Department, which is bizarre because the Justice Department is supposed to be, separate from the executive, but it's obviously not. So we actually don't have any more to talk about with Pam Bondi because she's literally done nothing. So all we could talk about was her being worthless. Now, we have to talk about, again, it's 2025. Really the top dog under Trump, and that is Trump's VP, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance has had an interesting year. And we can't talk about J.D. Vance without talking about the top 10 J.D. Vance memes. And you know what I'm talking about. The J.D. Vance memes. J.D. Palantir, somebody just said yes. But the one thing I will say that I enjoy is a good J.D. Vance meme. Let's take a look at the top 10. And of course, number one, you can't beat number one, right? We all know this one. It's in the thumbnail. President debate, ready, Chubb Vance, the classic, the best meme that's out there for JD. Let's keep moving. All right, emo JD, because yes, JD, of course, loves his eyeliner. Or Scene Kid JD, we like to call him, another top contender. It's funny because you can't even tell if this picture is photoshopped or not. This may just be an older picture of JD Vance. I'm not sure. There's the JD nuclear bomb meme. This is a classic as well. The JD Vance minion meme. Another great one right here. You got to love that one. All right, here's another one. Elvis JD. Not bad. Kim Jong JD. This one's a little bit rough to look at. All right. You got the JD Vance emo pack. It's got the little kid JD. You got Chad JD. You got Chud JD, emo JD. You got Kitty JD. You got them all. Furby JD. I need to get a hold of that. I don't know if that's a real thing. All right, JD Vance on Pawn Stars. Best I can do is more fat JD memes. This one again, of course, the JD Vance Shrek meme, another classic. And finally, there should be one more. Oh, no, that was the last one. My bad. Only 9 there. So yes, JD Vance. The one good thing he has going for him is he does have a good sense of humor. He's reposted pictures of the memes himself. You kind of have to at this point. Hasn't done a whole lot, really. I think one of the biggest things that he's done is to get in a pissing match with who we're going to talk about here in a little bit, the conservative boogeyman, Nick Fuentes. And if you didn't say this was a big deal when it happened. This happened, I think, last month. Oh, here we go.
About in your own movement, that's what I want to ask about, because one of the supremacists who was saying things like this about your family, Nick Fuentes, an avowed anti-Semite, went after your wife. He had previously dined at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. Does this have any room in your movement, in the MAGA movement?
Of course, it doesn't have any room in the MAGA movement. And of course,
you disavow him and this.
And of course, Donald Trump has criticized this person. Look, I think the guy's a total loser.
Ooh.
Certainly, I disavow him. But if you ask me what I care.
So that went horribly for JD. And so much so, JD has now shifted all the way back and is now saying he wants to stay out of the our greatest ally debate. He wants to fence it. He's realized he's not going to win 2028 without the Groypers. No one is going to win 2028 without the Groypers on the Republican side. Hate it, love it. Destiny arrives all the same to Nick Fuentes. He controls a huge demographic on the conservative side, and he has absolutely destroyed JD Vance as of late. I was going to show you some of the more recent hilarious clips, but I can't. We can't show some of the slurs that are used, unfortunately. But we're going to get into some of the best of Nick Fuentes here in a little bit. Yeah, this is what I couldn't show you guys, but for those of you who know, you know. All right, so that's actually, that brings us into, that gets us past the Trump administration and all of the debauchery that we've seen in 2025. Now we need to move into the content creation space. And in 2025, we have to lead it off. There's no way we can't talk about first on the generational run, whether you love him, you hate him, the biggest name in conservative politics in 2025, not even close, Nick J. Fuentes. Oof. I don't know. Let's do a poll, guys. I'm supposed to do more polls tonight. This is supposed to be and when we're getting to a lot of polls in the prediction side of things. But let's see what the audience here thinks. Do you like Fuentes? All right, yes or no, guys? What do we think here? Do we like Nick Fuentes? You know, ups and downs, ups and downs. Says a lot of things that people don't like. Says a lot of things people do like. All right. So we'll let that poll run for a little bit. And then we are going to get into some of Nick's greatest hits. We're going to look at some of the Piers Morgan interview. And again, you hate him, you love him, doesn't really matter. He is on what would you call what he would call, and everybody would call, a generational run. You cannot deny that. 2025 was his year. He's exploded. Massive, massive figure. Right? He's going to be somebody that in 2026 is going to be a huge, huge issue to deal with for somebody like JD, for the Republican Party. If they don't sort of adhere to the America First movement, it's going to get very, very painful. Let's see what the wow, we're at a 50-50. Straight 50-50, yes and no. All right, let's take a look, and we'll look at some of his more edgier tweets that we can show. One Asmongold put up here. We love Asmongold. But yeah, let's take a listen. See what you guys think.
Was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, you know, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go. He was also really fucking cool.
You regret saying that?
Saying a fact? No, that's absolutely true.
You think Hitler was very fucking cool? Like when you just say, I'm a racist. You're
yes,
a racist. You think
I do.
Hitler's cool, but you're not.
One of them. And I'm tired of pretending he's not.
Well,
to be honest.
This is the problem, you see. It's a bit like when you just say, I'm a racist. You're a racist who thinks Hitler's cool, but you're not anti-Semitic. If you're a Jewish person watching this, what are they thinking?
Bro, we didn't shift the Overton window. We burned down the house. We burned down the whole motherfucking neighborhood. Oh my God.
And that is the thing, whether you love him, you hate him, he has done more to move the Overton window that allows us to talk about important topics than really anybody. It's not even close. And that's why he actually is a very, very important figure in the conservative movement. Whether you hate him, you love him, you hate the things he says, you love the things he says. All right, but let's look at a couple more. Some of the Piers Morgan interview here. All right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my, this is not rigorous intellectually. This is
Let me I think I got to restart here.
goodness.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my, this is not rigorous intellectually. This is very
Just
this
a
is
statement of
tabloid
fact.
theology. Okay. But it's fine. Where were we? We're talking about Trump and
well,
somehow we got
on
into
Trump,
you're
look,
white
on
knighting
Trump-
for
on-
women's rights.
On Trump, well, I think women should have the same rights as you and I. You don't. That's fine.
Put on the pink hat, bro. Put on the pink hat. We're waiting.
What's the pink hat for?
For the march, for the women's march. Are we going to see you at the women's march protesting for women's rights and all that?
I think women should have equal rights to men. Period.
You carry tampons in case your female friends get a period or something? Like, it's crazy.
So, look, whether you like what he says, you don't like what he says, he's fucking hilarious. All right, we're gonna look at a few more of these here. This is a little bit of an edit, but another good one.
Did you say I look like that pigeon lady from the movie Home Alone 2?
Well, because you do look like that pigeon lady, Pierce. In fact, you look exactly like that pigeon lady.
What the hell?
I mean, he actually does. He actually does look exactly like the pigeon lady from Home Alone. I mean, he can't deny that. Why would Pierce even ask him that? Like, you have to know what's coming here. All right, a couple more.
This stuff for money, but you know when you say something like what you
I'm
just
banned
said,
from banking.
you
I'm
know
banned from banking and credit cards. You know who you're talking to?
Yeah,
I do it for money.
and by the
How
way-
much money you
and by
make?
the
Your
way,
company's
that
worth
shouldn't-
$100 million. Your company's worth $100 million. I was banned from Bank of America.
And you
I'm
shouldn't have
banned
been.
from processing credit cards.
And you shouldn't have been.
But I am. So don't tell me I'm doing it for money.
Well, ask me my opinion about that. I'll tell you shouldn't have been. Right? I don't agree with that. What happened to
Then
you?
don't say I'm doing it for money, because you know that full well, and you say it's a
How
grift.
much money- how much
if I
money
wanted to
are
be
you-
a grifter, I'd be like you,
How
and
much
I would
money
go
are-
and say,
how much money are you making?
I'm making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm the #1 live streamer in America, because people agree with me more than they agree with you. We're tired of hearing about slavery and the Holocaust and Jim Crow. We're done hearing about that. You guys
I'm not
overplayed your
done
hand.
hearing about that.
Okay, well, your generation's on the way out, and Generation Z is coming up, and we're finished with that. We're ready to take our country back.
I've got 3
we're
sons.
not listening
I've
to
got
crying
3
minorities
sons.
anymore.
I've
Here
got
we go.
3 sons, and they don't share your views about
Yeah, well.
slavery and about the Holocaust. They can have decency and compassion and humanity about some of the worst things that have happened in the last 150 years or more.
Sound like girls.
They can do that. And they can also have concerned views about issues like immigration and other issues. The two things are not mutually incompatible.
I'm an icon.
They sound like girls. Brutal. I mean, he absolutely destroyed Pierce in that interview. All right. Okay. So that gets us through again. Whether you can like it or not, people are getting upset in the chat. It is what it is, man. We're talking about all the biggest stories and the biggest names of the year. Hate it or love it. It is what it is. All right. Next one, and this is one everyone's going to hate. He's having a hell of a year this year. And by a hell of a year, I mean it's going really fucking bad for him this year. Who do you guys think is having the worst year on social media? If you had to guess. Who's having the worst year on social media in the content creation space, you guys think? Who's your guesses? All right, yeah, you guys nailed it right out the gate. Ben Shapiro. Yep, Shapiro is not doing well. And there's good reason for it, because he keeps saying shit that is just objectively fucking gross, dude. And so let's take a look at some of Ben's greatest hits here. So we can all just see why everybody hates this guy's fucking guts.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up. But the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that. The history of America is you go to a place where there is opportunity. And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places where you have better opportunities. If you're a young person and you can't afford.
Okay. So let's think about that. Let's really break that down. Ben Shapiro wants you, young people, to move somewhere else if you can't afford to live in America. You know, you haven't even had the chance to actually build wealth or get a job or do any of those types of things. And think about that too. You should move somewhere else if you don't have opportunity. It's almost like wasn't that one country that you're such a simp for? Wasn't that like handed as a DEI gift to you and your people? You didn't fight for it. You didn't earn it. America and Britain and France actually, fought for that and gave their lives for that so that you guys could have a place to live where you could receive free universal health care and free college tuition. And in a lot of cases, free housing, depending on where you're allowed to live. All based off of United States citizens' tax dollars that pay for all of that, by the way. So the audacity of that fucking guy to tell American young people, if you can't afford it, oh, you should fucking move somewhere else. How about you move somewhere else, bud? I got a place you should probably move to. I think there's a place we'd all like you to move to. But if you thought his take on young people was bad, let's get his take on elderly people.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem.
Wow.
Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years.
So there you go. So if you're young and you can't afford to live somewhere, you should fucking move, according to Ben. And if you are older and you're elderly and I don't know, you're 70 years old and you wanted to retire, Ben Shapiro says, nah, fuck you. You should work until you die. Guy who sits behind, and again, let me give some reference to this, sits behind a computer and talks into a microphone for a living, as I'm doing right now. However, the difference between me and Ben is I worked an extremely, extremely hard physical manual labor job for my entire adult life before this, like many of you do and have. He, however, has never done anything like that. He has spent his entire life sitting behind a fucking microphone yapping his mouth. So, yeah, I don't know, buddy. I don't know if I'm on board with Americans should not ever retire. They should just work until they fucking die. Not for me, but somebody said they wanted to pull on old Benny. Nick Fuentes is a straight 50-50. He's polarizing. That's exactly about what you would expect from someone like Nick. We're going to see something quite different on this one, I'm sure. Do you like Ben Shapiro? Question mark. Let's see the difference here. I'm sure there's going to be a difference. If I had to guess, I don't think we're going to see a 50-50 split. And we're not done with Ben. We got more greatest hits from Ben. As Ben did his big rant and attacked everybody at AmFest. I did a video on this.
That is a moral and logical absurdity. There is only one moral side here, Erica Kirk's side.
Wow.
Yes, the 5 stages of grief we're all well aware of. WWE-style Goldberg entrances, pyrotechnics, fundraising, big smiles, and, of course, merch giveaways.
Sick. Go to the rest of Ben's speech.
Beginning of Kirk Carlson out of friendship of our duty.
Look at as well.
Here we go.
Else.
That does not relieve us of our duty to speak out of principle and not to cover up evil or shy away from addressing it out of friendship. So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA. Or to mirror her bullshit lines of questioning because you love Candace personally. The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. Meghan Markle is a young mother. Ilhan Omar is a young mother. That doesn't matter.
Okay. Let's get a little bit more. I mean, he went after literally everybody here.
To ask the kinds of questions that actually get at the truth. If we agree with a guest, that's fine, but we should own it. So, for example, if you host a Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes,
Got about 13 claps there. The audience goes wild.
you know, the Nick Fuentes who said that the vice president of the United States is a, quote, fat gay race.
Okay, I can't put some of that in. It's going to get, he's got too many bad words in there. And also, it's really hard to listen to that fucking guy any longer than we even really can. And the funny thing about Ben is he keeps going on all of these podcasts and he keeps going on all these events and crying about Nick Fuentes. And everybody just keeps telling him, well, why don't you debate the guy? And even Nick Fuentes has called him out for it.
Well, and he should debate me. If he feels so strongly, then debate me. He won't. He knows he won't. You know he won't. I know he won't. Come and debate me then. I have 55,000 live viewers. How many live viewers do you get? He knows that if he debates me, it'll be the most watched debate in politics in 10 years. It'll be bigger than the Trump-Biden debate.
Yep.
It'll be the most watched debate since Trump debated Hillary Clinton. He knows he will lose. He knows that everyone will rally to my side, and he knows that Israel first is over. That's why he'll never do it.
Yep. And he still refuses to do it. Not only is he refusing to do it, if you guys didn't know, he is now refusing to go on people's podcasts that have platformed Nick, including Patrick Bet-David, canceled his appearance that he was supposed to do on Patrick Bet-David because he had him on. So it's been a very, very rough. Wait, Joe says I'm banned. You banned me, Joe. What are you talking about? You can't ban me. You can't ban me. My mods can't ban me. He's had a very, very rough year. He's hemorrhaging somewhere between, I don't know exact numbers, but tens of thousands of subscribers a day or a week. It's been rough. It's been rough for Ben. And it's all comes basically from the fact that everybody just hates his guts because he says all of the things we just saw. I'm not really sure who listens to that and is like, yeah, that's my guy. I'm not sure. Okay, we've moved through some of the biggest names. Now we got to talk about some of the biggest events that happened. And what was one of the biggest events by far? And that, of course, was the war with Iran. And guys, when it comes to predictions, I don't like to toot my own horn too much, but when you make predictions about geopolitical conflicts, you're not always right. And a lot of times you're wrong because nobody's Nostradamus. But I'll tell you this. I called the Iran war 2 months before it happened, and I'll show you it right here in this video. And you can see the date here. This is my video. It says the U.S. versus Iran war cannot be stopped 8 months ago, okay? The actual war kicked off 6 months ago. So I am going to take, in this one tiny time, my correct projection for what would happen ahead of time of the Iran war. And this was a good meme that I built out on this one. If you're in the military, it'll make sense. Somebody said, what war kicked off 8 months ago? No war did. The Iran war kicked off six months ago. I made that video 8 months ago. That was the one thing I called correctly. All right. And let's think about that. All right. We also talked about this too. It was the first time the United States used the GBU 57. This is what it was almost like we wanted to test this out. These are the giant bunker busting munitions, 30,000 pound GBU 57, the father of all bombs. And this is this giant bunker busting munition that we tried out for the very first time, tactically or operationally, like on a real target. Supposedly, we dropped, I believe, 6 of them and then buried one. Say, basically, the round comes in, buries 200 feet into the ground, however far it can get. It explodes, and they keep sending them down the same hole. Now, supposedly, we destroyed all of Iran's nuclear facilities. Supposedly. I made videos saying I didn't believe that at all. I thought it was total bullshit. I figured they had to have, they would have known this attack was coming way ahead of time. And they obviously moved all that uranium. Interestingly enough, our fearless leader, our greatest ally's fearless leader, just came to the White House last week. And what did he have to say? Oh, that's right. That Iran, we didn't destroy their nuclear capabilities, it turns out. Oh, imagine that. And so what do they need the United States to do? Oh, they need us to bomb their ballistic missile systems and their nuclear capabilities again. Oh, wow. It's almost like we all knew that was all horseshit when it happened. Yes, the 12-day war, which I'm not even sure. I think, didn't Trump say that? Isn't that one of the wars that Trump says he stopped? Isn't that one of the 8th? One of the 8. Am I wrong with that, guys? I'm pretty sure Donald Trump includes the war that Israel and the United States started for 12 days and then just didn't even have a real war, and then it just ended. And we call that one of the ended wars. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's one of the 8. And we're going to get into predictions later. Let's talk about predictions later, okay? But that was, of course, one of the biggest news stories at the time. Now we're going to get into bigger stories as we go here, and the next biggest. Actually, let's do a poll here. Oh my God! I just looked at the Ben Shapiro poll, guys. 97% no. Oh my God. That's a big yikes for many. 97.3. That's that's one of the worst I've seen. I think Erica Kirk is the only person I've seen worse than that on a poll. I want to ask you guys, biggest news story of the year. And I'm going to give you a couple options. 4 options, okay? We're going to cover all of them, obviously. Epstein files. We'll do Iran war, Gaza genocide, and then Charlie Kirk will be the last one. All right, you got 4 options. What was the biggest news story? And don't think about the ones that just happened the most recently at the time when it happened or collectively over the entire time. What is, to you, what do you think the biggest news story was? Okay, next, what we're going to move into is one of the next stories here, and that is Gaza. Okay, there's no doubt that this has been one of, if not the most impactful things that have happened to the world in changing overall perspectives on an issue. And what I mean by that is if you were to take a look at support for our greatest ally before October 7th, before that genocide, and then look at it now in 2025, the shift in support away from our greatest ally is insane. I mean, I don't know if any topic has yanked that much support around the world. And we're not just talking about in America. This is around the entire world, has changed everything. And it's sad. It's super sad that, of course, the horrific things that have happened as you can see, and we're going to take a look at flyover videos here. But sometimes, unfortunately, for the world to change, sometimes stuff like this happens. And I don't want to say has to happen, but does happen. World War II is another one. World War I is another one. Events like this. It changed me. I'll tell you guys. Am I lagging here? There we go. Changed me. I was just like a lot of people. I was blind supporter of our greatest ally because I didn't really think about it, didn't know any better, and wasn't educated on it before October 7th, 2023. And very quickly after that, I mean, a month in when I started watching what was happening, I shifted the polar opposite. I went from here all the way to the other side. And I know so many of you watching this had the exact same effect on you. Like seeing everything that we saw and watching it happen. Not all of you. Some people are still simps for our greatest ally, and that's fine. You can and somebody said we paid for it. Yes, we paid for all of it. We provided, your taxpayers, your taxpaying dollars provided the bombs. But for me, in changing perceptions, this was a story that had profound impact on me. And it was things like this. It wasn't just what we heard. It was actually seeing stuff like this.
From the air, the scale of Israel's 15-month bombing campaign in Gaza is clear. This shows the destructive force of 85,000 tons of explosives. It's difficult to understand how anything or anyone could survive what aid agencies describe as appalling and apocalyptic conditions. And even with a ceasefire, how anyone could return. Juma Shadi says he built his house piece by piece. And like many other...
So, I'll tell you guys, I've been in war zones. That ain't a war zone. That is something completely fucking different than a war zone. That's total annihilation and obliteration. I mean, that's again, so that's like Hiroshima. That's like Nagasaki. There's no war involved there. And that's what really, I would say radicalized me in the opposite direction. Because especially, and there's a lot of combat veterans in the chat, as combat veterans that went and fought the war, like we know what a war zone looks like. And we know what war looks like, the way the United States has to operationally carry it out because we follow the Geneva Convention and all those different things. And so for us watching what our greatest ally had done and continues to do, that ain't war, homies. That is a genocide. That is ethnic cleansing. That's it. I know the difference. And all the other combat veterans and veterans in general that deployed overseas, they know the difference. So that was a huge news story, I think. For me, I think worldwide, that is the biggest story. Now, in America, and this is what we're going to talk about next. No, actually, we're not there yet. In America, potentially, Epstein files, Charlie Kirk, maybe bigger. But around the world, in my opinion, Gaza was the biggest story this year. So let's move into the next one, which is, yes, we all know it. It has been plaguing America since 2019. The Epstein files, and this year has been absolutely terrible for the Trump administration. You can't really mix it any other way. The absolute shit show in where we've been for this, right? Where did we start? We started with well, I'll play that in a second. We started with running a campaign on full transparency, releasing the Epstein files. That was one of the main campaign promises. Immediately what happened, we hit the ground, files are on the desk, binders are given to all the influencers that don't actually have anything in them. The American public goes, wait, what the fuck's going on? Pam Bondi then comes out and says, actually, just kidding. There's no Epstein files. They don't exist. Bongino backs her up. Cash backs her up. Cash Patel says to Congress, Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to no one. Well, that's bizarre. And then thank God for Representatives Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna. And they get a bipartisan bill with Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few others to push forward across the line to finally get these things released, force the hand of the Trump administration. And what do we get? A pathetic redacted mess, it turns out. And we've got a few memes for this because as gross as it is, there's always good memes.
We got to definitely write a song about how we do not diddle kids. Do not diddle kids. It's no good diddling kids.
There is no quicker way for people to think that you are diddling kids than by writing a song about it.
You got to write a song that says, "Ooh, I wouldn't do it with anybody younger than my daughter. No little kids, got to be big, older than my wife, older than my daughter," something like that.
But with anything, there's always hilarious comedy. And yes, it didn't go incredibly well for our POTUS, who, again, yes, or as we could call him, Donica Lewinsky. Because if you guys forgot about Bubba, remember Bubba? The news cycle moves so fast. Yes. Donica Lewinsky, our POTUS, the Throatus, we should probably call him, sucking off Bill Clinton. Supposedly, again, allegedly, I should say, because I don't want to get sued. Although the interesting thing is Donald Trump has sued like 900 people in his life, but he has never sued anyone for calling him a PDF. Isn't that interesting? But also, let's take a little trip down memory lane to one of my favorite creations from the Epstein files.
Little ditty about Bubba and Trump. Two political rivals that got it on when the lights were on. Sucking off Bubba's hog outside of Mar-a-Lago. Bubba's on Donnie's lap, licking off his orange glow. Well then, Donnie, let's go behind the shady trees. Pull down a branch so Hillary doesn't see. She doesn't see. Oh yeah, Bubba was blown by dawn. In 2 minutes of Epstein's prison video's gone. Oh yeah, Bubba was blown by dawn. In 2 minutes of Epstein's prison video's gone. It's long gone.
Some absolutely beautiful.
All right. So one of my favorite creations, creativity creations during the Epstein files. A lot of somebody just said, this is a dirty stream. Well, welcome to my channel. And we're not this is not a TPUSA live streaming event, just so you know. If you couldn't tell by fucking looking at me, we're not that PC here on the channel. So you may want to head on over to Charlie Kirk's channel and watch some TPUSA reruns if this is offending you. Okay. All right. Also, one more. This is one of my favorite ones too that I made.
Now arrange those by color.
These are all
No, I didn't make this one.
Oh, are they? Or are 5 in a dark black and 5 in a slightly darker black?
So Cash Patel went out and did an interview with Brett Baer, and oh my God, could they not have set him up any worse than this for this photo? Look at these chairs. Brett Baer, of course, no problem, feet on the ground. Cash Patel, like a little toddler, his feet nowhere near touching the ground. Literally the smallest man I think I've ever seen in my life. There's no way he's over 5'1" now that I'm looking at this.
So anyway, just some good some good trips down memory lane from where we came to. Oh my God. Look at this, dude. Shut the fuck up, you fucking pussy, dude. Oh my God, dude. Could you imagine being offended? I'm just embarrassed for you. I'm embarrassed for you. Oy vey. Shut the fuck up, dude. Oh my God. Ugh, could you imagine, dude, being offended by this stream that much? Wow. Holy shit, dude. What a fucking pussy, dude. Sorry, I don't. It's usually like one. We get a comment every once in a while that's just the biggest fucking bitch you'll ever see in your life, which is a guy like that. Old Dougster, dude. Dougster Wang. Let's see. Yeah, we'll add Dougster, right? We got Dr. Wang. Dougster just entered the Hall of Fame for biggest fucking pussies on the channel. My God, dude. Come on, dude. You can't be that offended by this stream. This is mild. We're not even in hot sauce at the Taco Bell drive-through. We're mild here. Relax. Okay. Now let's get back on track before the crybabies. All right. All right. Now let's move into what you guys, I believe, voted as the biggest news story of the year. Yeah, and it does make sense. Yes, of course, the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's hard to argue with. This story is massive. It continues to be massive. Artificially, I think at this point, there's no actual new evidence or anything coming out on the story anyway. And now we're kind of just inflating. I don't want to call we're artificially keeping the story going, right? Which it's a YouTube thing, which is fine. But this story was absolutely massive across everything you could think of, and for a lot of different reasons, not just for how horrific it was, but also showing how incompetent our government is, the FBI's involvement, everything that's come from it since. I mean, this is, and just how fucking bizarre the story is, right? It's got to be even more bizarre than the JFK assassination in a lot of ways. Maybe that's because we don't have a lot of the evidence. I don't think we're going to get any much better evidence than we already got, but it is definitely one of the, if not the biggest stories in a long, long time. Yes. Definitely one of the best. Or biggest, excuse me. This story was absolutely massive. And we covered a lot of it. I think I was probably the first content creator. I believe this was the day after the shooting. This was, I think, right when they announced a 30-06 was what was being used. That I put this video out, and basically it says, is the FBI lying about the Charlie Kirk shooting? And this we're not going to play any of the clips of it because it's rough to watch. We've all seen it 100 times, but there's absolutely no doubt that this story and everything a part of it, things like this, the security detail, we all remember this. You can watch all these guys have claimed trauma over. There had treated into. Also, what we really see is, let me get back to it. Where was that? I mean, you got stuff like this, right? Brown shirt guy. Biggest takeaways here, because we're going to talk about whether it's incompetence or nefarious with all this stuff. This guy, right? Why are you watching Charlie Kirk? With his weird stuff, you've got the security guards got no blood on their hands. You've got the 30-06. You've got, so much of this. Tyler Robinson making no sense as a suspect. It's just, and we got no good information beyond, what we had in the first 48 hours. It's obviously multiple people involved. Almost guaranteed that, at least in my opinion, that this was some sort of coordinated and assisted hit from somebody professional, whether it be a state actor, whether it be a foreign adversary, our greatest ally. There's absolutely no way, 0% chance that Tyler Robinson was a lone gunman who planned this entire operation out on his own, infills perfectly with a 30-06 that he reconstructs on the roof, takes the shot, makes the shot, exfils perfectly, except puts the gun back together, hides it in a chicken coop for no reason when he could have just left with it, right? Sends the weird admission to his furry boyfriend, right? Admitting to the crime in talking like a Shakespearean actor, supposedly goes home. His dad turns him in. Then we find out his dad didn't actually turn him in. It was a family friend that came over to the house and basically threatened him that the SWAT team would show up and kill him if he didn't turn himself in. Like all of these things. Somebody said, Mike, what's wrong with the mic? Are we good? Mike's still good? Give me a 5x5 if we're still good. Mike's fine. Okay. All of these things, like none of it's been answered. Literally none of it's been answered for any of us. I mean, and this led to, I did my own testing on this, right? The 30-06, this was a big reason why, the videos I was doing were getting pretty big, was just criticizing the idea that this 30-06 story, that it just did not make sense to me. So we went out and tested it. Exploding cow vertebrae.
So, as you can see, the cow neck vertebrae stood no chance. It's a lot of times.
Cow femurs.
It's a lot of times. Couple. This thing is gigantic. All right, so that's what we're hitting next. All right, so here is the femur. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, that's
exploded.
Okay.
Maybe I did miss.
Right? I mean, like you guys, we've seen these, right? Not all of you may not have seen these, but again, here's the ending.
Got 6 did to
Straight
literal
through
steel here. We have and thank God we got an actual competition shooter here to hit this 2-inch by 2-inch plate from 100 yards, which I probably wouldn't have been able to. Clean through 1/4-inch steel. Clean through 3/8 inch steel and 1/2 inch steel. Almost, or actually it potentially did actually blow out the side of that. So
there you go. I mean, but we're but we're supposed to believe some of these other theories, right? Yeah, the elastic skin theory. It came in and the skin on the back of his neck was so strong it trampolined the round back into his vertebrae and it traveled down all his neck. Like, okay. None of it makes sense. That's what made this story also so massive is, we got Jameson in here? Oh, shit. The big dog. I didn't know Jameson's in here. Also, year in review, for those who don't know, Jameson Travels, the mentor of this channel. I think Jameson picked me up as lowly when I was around 40,000 subscribers or so. And he has mentored me and guided me every step of the way, and really massive reason why this channel has been as successful as it has is directly because of Jameson. So thank you, Jameson, to the chat. I'll give you a public thank you. Jameson has been a massive, massive part of this channel and a very good friend, by the way, and great content as well. Also, if you didn't know, Dan Crenshaw is asking to come on Jameson Travels channel to be interviewed by him. We're going to talk about Crenshaw here in a minute as well. Actually, it turns out, because yes, he is someone who's had quite a year in a negative way. He's much like Ben Shapiro in that way. Very, very rough year for old Eye Patch McCain, it's turned out. Okay, so again, guys, we get it. We don't need to go super deep in the Charlie Kirk story. It's still the biggest thing in the news media, right? We got it. But another one that we may have forgot about, Luigi Mangione. We haven't heard that much. I mean, the trial is now ongoing, but this was another one. This was huge, huge deal. And if you haven't been paying attention to this one's gotten really interesting, guys, because where Luigi started, he was being tried for T-word, can't say it here. He was being tried for first-degree murder, all these crazy charges, and all of these charges are melting away. They're melting away for Luigi, which is very bizarre. And I think where they're at now, if we look at this, is, as it says here, prosecution withdraws Luigi Mangione interrogation statements over Pennsylvania recording law concerns. So many fuck-ups by law enforcement that are getting all of this stuff thrown out of court. Now, the charges have been dropped down to 9 counts of indictment, including only a second-degree murder charge. That's the highest. That's the highest charge, where he faces 25 years to life in prison. Most of them are actual weapon offenses. Now, if you think about that, think about the fact there's no way first-degree murder is premeditated, which means somebody set out with a plan to kill someone. If you're going to say he's the shooter, he 1,000%, not saying I believe he is, he 1,000% set out to target that United Healthcare CEO to kill him. That's first-degree murder. So the fact that court is dropped all of the heaviest charges is actually wild. I don't know if he's going to get charged. He'll probably get charged for some gun charges. I don't think he's going to get charged for murder. I don't know if he'll get off completely, but there's so many screw ups in that case from law enforcement. I think he has a good choice of getting off. Okay. We don't got to get too much into that. Next, who outside of Charlie Kirk has also had a massive year? You guys know? Who's had a massive, massive year? Who's come out of nowhere, become a rising star? She's everywhere. Out of nowhere. What a year she's having. Erica Kirk. My God. Grieving widow Erica Kirk has come out of nowhere as this massive figure in social media and everywhere you look. One of the biggest names out of nowhere. Very crazy. So we can't not talk about her rise in ascension to, again, CEO of Turning Point on the biggest podcast tour I think I've ever seen anybody do. So we got to talk about her. It is what it is. This is part of 2025. Okay. So we got some things we need to watch. So hang in there for a couple of these.
Is running for the highest office in the country. The other is ready to grieve.
You ready to grieve?
This summer, two strangers, two very different lives, and one unexpected moment that changes everything. Fall in love all over again. A story of love, loss, and grifting.
Please wait, where are you going?
I'm going to save the country.
When are you gonna save me?
Sometimes the greatest love stories are born from heartbreak. Glitter and Grieve, coming 2026. One.
It may be coming, guys. It may be coming. I don't know. Somebody said you think that's too far? You thought, who said that's too far? Oh, you do? If you thought that was too far, you're going to hate the rest of these. You're going to absolutely hate the rest of these. That was the mild one. Okay. All right. Let's keep it moving. Here we go. I told you if you didn't like the first one, you were going to hate the rest of these. Okay. This is not, I'm just pulling stuff off the internet, guys. I'm not making this stuff. These are huge viral clips in 2025. I told you the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm not here to condone all of these clips. I'm here to show you this is the 2025 year in review. Okay. Don't be mad at me. I'm not the one making these things. This is just what's gone viral. All right, we're not done. Yes, the 6th stage of grief, the merch giveaway. Hell yeah.
Some more. No.
So happy. Gotta love it. All right, couple more from Alex Phillips. We remember these. Hold on, let me restart this real quick.
Not terrifying to anyone else.
We usually did before tours. We said our prayer and we asked to protect us.
Oh, hell
Will
no.
be done.
It's like she's looking
That's what
through me. Yo, I need 2 pairs of shades for this shit.
Serve a just God, and I rest easy in knowing that He's sovereign, but He's just. So let the Lord handle that.
What?
Charlie,
She is creepy.
He's in heaven. I'd always say, baby, I don't care what time you get home. Home is here for you. Your food will never be cold. It might sit out for a little bit, but I'll reheat it. It's fine.
You were cooking something. I just don't know if it was food. The eyes, Chico, they never lie. I don't know what conspiracy to believe, but one of them's got to be true. Is this?
Again, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. All right, one more, and then we'll move on. We'll stop beating up on this one. But again, I'm not the one making her do this shit. We didn't force her to do this. All right.
Look at those hands. Look at images 4 and 5. How much bigger Charlie's hands are than Erica's. Then look at the hand sizes in 1, 2, and 3. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is exactly what I was talking about. You tell me.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hold on, I gotta hear it again.
Shabbat Shalom.
Again, we're not forcing these people to do any of this. They are doing this, putting it on camera, and putting it on the internet. So don't try to emotionally blackmail me when I come out and say, that's fucking weird. It's all fucking weird. Okay? Don't try to bully me on that. All right, now, we've gotten through some of the biggest stories. Let's look at some of the funnier, austere stories that some of you may have remembered, some of you may have not. Okay? Do you guys remember the SIG P320 firing on its own? Potentially shooting off people's ball sacks? Some of you may have been well aware of that. All the firearms enthusiasts in the chat. We made a couple videos on this back in the day. All right, I made a video. And if you guys know, GBRS DJ Shipley took a beating. We love DJ, by the way, but he took a lot of abuse because of this video where he came out and defended the SIG P320, and we made a spoof video of this that I thought was pretty funny. Let's take a look.
Unless there's video evidence of you standing there just like this, arms crossed, boom, and it goes off until that video emerges. I don't want to hear it, dude.
All right, guys, so make sure not to miss. Don't shoot. Oh, is that the
Oh,
three?
God! My nuts! DJ! You told me the gun was safe, DJ! Oh, my God, my nuts are gone, DJ! Oh, DJ said the 320 was safe. My balls are gone. Oh, God, DJ.
Okay. Look, guys. I told DJ sorry for the joke, okay? He's a good sport. He's a good sport about it. All right, but it was funny, okay? Yes, the P320, if you didn't know, for those of you who aren't aware of what was happening, essentially, something wrong with the sear mechanism that was making this gun
320
go off.
cannot, all caps lock, under any circumstances. Ooh, interesting. Discharge without a trigger pull. That is a fact.
Safety might be working, but the other safeties might not have been. So let's see. Did you see that? Holy crap!
So that video went insanely viral when that happened. Yeah, if you guys, you don't have to sell it. Here's what I'd say, Keith: don't sell it. I don't sell mine. Mine's sitting. I've got a SIG P320. It's sitting in my safe. Don't sell it because somebody who doesn't know about that may buy it, right? And they may end up Somebody said it's a feature. Yeah. So that was a wild story when that happened. All right. Anyway, another one, okay, was the Antifa riots and the No Kings protests that me and JD went to. If you guys don't remember those, this is still going on someplace.
Educated. Not you. Not having a conversation with you. I don't give a about you. Him. So he seems upset. He doesn't want to talk with me, which I can respect. I'm here to talk to people who want to talk to me. That's why you're in the back. You know where the fuck you are. So it seems like we're being followed by a whole bunch of people at this point.
So yes, that was a interesting one. JD's been down there multiple times. I only went down there once with him. But there's been there's been the what was it? The No Kings protest. That was another big one. The government shutdown, guys. Government shutdown. You remember that? You remember how our government was shut down for how many days was it, guys? 40, 43, 49? 49 days, was it? 43, maybe. But yeah, the government, like, are we going to get 45? Are we going to get a refund on our taxes? Are you guys going to get an 8% refund, do you think? Because, the fact that, or actually it should be more than that if it was 45 days. 10%, 11% refund on our taxes. Seems like we should. But I bet we won't. Bet we won't get any refunds. Guys, who's going to pay their taxes this year? I've seen there's a big movement of people saying they're not going to pay their taxes. You guys are ballsy. Let's do a poll and just be honest. Be honest, though, guys. Be honest. I don't want you lying just to, beef it up. Who's going to not pay? No, let's say who's going to pay their taxes. Who's going to pay their taxes? I know there's a huge movement of people saying I'm not paying my fucking taxes. Again, ballsy play. Ballsy play. All right, but let me see what you guys think. Who's going to actually pay their taxes? Who's not going to pay their taxes? A couple things I want to talk about. Stories that just kind of disappeared. You guys remember this story? Yeah, don't go. You guys don't have to go on record, all right? You can just don't say it in the chat, all right? Don't comment it, right? Or the feds might get you. The FBI might see it. IRS comes looking for you. Just vote, yes or no. Okay. I will be paying my taxes. I don't want to, but I don't have the balls you guys do. I got a wife and kids, so I can't necessarily just say, fuck it. All right, but remember this while you guys are voting on that. You guys remember, we're going to talk about a few stories. These happened recently. That this was the Washington, D.C. shooting. Remember this? A CIA asset, Afghan national, who supposedly drove from Washington State all the way to Washington, D.C. to shoot two National Guard soldiers. And then we heard nothing ever again about it. That was weird. And then what was another one? The Bondi Beach T-word attack. That one happened. What did we hear as soon as it was announced that a Muslim immigrant from Syria was the actual hero of that story? That story disappeared. Completely out of the news. Gone. Just like the Washington, D.C. shooter. What's another one? The Brown University shooting. What happened to that one? Where did all these stories go? It's almost like when some of these stories don't pan out the way they want to in the media, they just sort of disappear into the nether. Isn't that interesting how that works? It's usually not how that works when it's a real event. But again, just something for you guys to think about when these huge attacks happen and all of a sudden a week later nobody's heard anything about the shooters. Like, are they going to go to trial? Have you found out anything more about them? Where'd they come from? Where do they get radicalized? You're never going to hear anything else ever again. All right, let's take a couple super chats, and then we're going to talk about Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw, who's had a hell of a year. That'll be what's coming up next. All right. All right, let's move through a few of these so we don't get too far behind. Eric says, bruh, Cash Patul, dude is a complete simp, man. What world are we living in? Has to be the upside down. What else could explain it? Old Cash. Old Crash Out Patel. Oh, wait, we got this one already. Oh, here we go. Been thinking about this for a while. You guys in the States need to stop paying taxes. Well, interesting. We just did a poll on that. F the left, F the right, F everybody in between. Love and work. Love the work. Happy New Year's. Appreciate you, Pimbla. You may call me V, says, let's go, boys. Bricked up and ready for the live. Out here just beer drinking, hog cranking. Happy 2026 to Valhalla and the entire Munchkin Mafia. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully you're not cranking your hog to me, but if you are, hey, man, I'm glad you're getting some enjoyment out of the stream, I guess. Happy 2026 from Sydney, Australia. Thank you, Larissa. We love Australia here. Is Pam a DEI hire? I'm thinking about doing a video on Pam tomorrow, basically for calling for her to be fired, but also looking into her background because she's been connected to Trump for a long, long time, turns out. A lot of weird stuff behind that. Bobby says, fell like that for the politics, bro, not the real situation. Guess I need to do better separating the two. Blessings for 2026. Thank you. Blessings to you as well, Bobby. Appreciate you, brother. Six's mom, thank you for always being here. Wishing you the best 2026. Thank you for always staying strong for women and children. Actually, all Americans. Aloha from Kauai. Thank you, Six's mom. Appreciate you. Anna says, I'm here trying to live after last night, and you were here trying to kill me. Love the humor. If we can't laugh, we cry. Love you, guy. Thank you very much, Anna. Appreciate you. Shilly Billy Eulogy. JD Vance's pair of leather pants. He does like leather and couches, it turns out, from what we've heard. Will you set aside a day for subscribers to ask questions? Super chats are great, but subscribers are everything. Don't forget us. Give us a day too. I didn't even think about that. Can I do subscriber-only lives? I didn't even know if that's something I can do. Do you guys know? Do other channels do that? I'd have to look into how to do it. But yeah, I could do a subscriber-only live. I got to figure out how to do it. Actually, I didn't even know you could do that, by the way. Shit, I might just set it up. Oh, members only live. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. I didn't even know you could do that, guys. So why not? We'll look at doing one of those pretty soon then. Sounds cool. All right. We could potentially do that. All right. Happy New Year from a retired CAG. I can neither confirm or deny that the company and the unit have increased coordinated training for domestic contingencies. Well, I mean, you probably know our good friend Brent then. Not a very big organization, but very cool, man. The difference between liking someone and trusting someone, referring to Nick. That's fair. Bobby says most politicians and podcasters have taken sides at the loss of their credibility. Keep calling balls and strikes. Nate and I will be here to support you. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you. That's what I'll always do. You know, sometimes people hate the opinion. Sometimes they don't. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to curtail the things I tell you for what is going to be the most beneficial for me as a channel. I could do that. I'm a smart guy. But that's just not how I'm going to do it. Sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's positive. But I appreciate you, Bobby. Nick reminds me of Andy Rooney. Is he a reincarnation? They're both very high verbal IQs for sure. Ben's initials are literally BS. Yeah. All right, Cody Fisher, Precision, says Nick is the base and our painter was really fucking cool. Let's be honest here. Jesus. Happy New Year, Nate. Wish you and your family all the best this year. Looking forward to this year's chats. PS, it'll always be the tiny hats. That's a groiper right there for sure, boys. No doubt about that. Thank you very much, Cody. Appreciate you, brother. All right, a couple more and we'll jump back in. Belinda, thank you. Black says, cannot stand Shapiro. He has such a punchable face. Definition of anti-American. 100%. I understand putting chatters in timeout for being disrespectful, but doing so randomly to people and paid members for the hell of it is pretty lame. That's the mods. And guys, I'm running the show. If you're putting timeout, it's by the mods, and it's because you said something probably disrespectful. I highly doubt my mods are putting you in timeout if you are just like being a nice guy and interacting with the chat. Would be my guess. So yeah, if you're getting timed out, that's probably because you're being a bad boy. All right, so don't be a bad boy. I trust walking around with a 320 in my mouth more than Ben Shapiro. Oh my god, dude. That's dark, but also, yeah, me too. Me too. All right, a couple more, and then we're jumping back into the episode here. World War I and II working together to form. Oh, World War I and II about the boxes working together to form the boxes. World is why historians agree WW1 had no purpose, but if you notice, it started with manipulation. Yeah, 1913 with the Rothschilds is how that one started. We're fucked. Thanks for getting the word out before total censorship takes off. Dig the cover. Yeah, it's probably coming this year. All right, two more, and then we're back into it. Gaza, but Kirk Epstein files exposed government the most. Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure. The Epstein files, I think, is the biggest for exposing government corruption and the FBI's failures with Charlie Kirk and really the Epstein files as well. All right, last one. Cody, thank you, brother. Funniest part of all four options is the same people are literally behind all of them. I can't pick one. Oh, that's kind of a good point. Epstein, Gaza, Kirk. What was the fourth one? Oh, the Iran-Israel war. Oh, they probably were behind all four. Yikes. You're probably not wrong. It was a joke, but you're probably not wrong. All right, hey, let's move into Dan Crenshaw. Yes, Dan Crenshaw has had a hell of a year. He started the year off, if you guys don't remember this, by threatening to kill Tucker Carlson on a hot mic.
We've talked a lot. I haven't made him up on the He's the worst person.
Oh, yeah. All right, this is an old one. This is a year ago. What do we got? We got something. There's some funny clips here. All right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's how old Eye Patch McCain started the year off, threatening to kill Tucker Carlson. That went absolutely horrible for him. He then, about 2 months ago, got in a drunken incident down in Mexico. Apparently, said some things he shouldn't be saying to female coworkers and got banned from international travel by Congress for 3 months. And then to top it off recently, as I'm sure many of you know about already, then threatened to sue fellow Navy SEAL Sean Ryan, which also went terribly for Dan Crenshaw. And I wanted to watch this together because I believe Sean put this out. He put this out right before we started the show. Most of you guys probably haven't seen it, but it's relevant. And let's see what Sean had to say. He's addressing Dan Crenshaw in 2026. This was 4 hours ago. So yeah, 2 hours before we went live, Sean put this out. Let's watch this together.
It's 2026, and this is not how I wanted to kick my new year off, but here we are. It's one of those times where I need to be honest and transparent with you guys, because I always have been. Whenever I make a mistake, I take ownership of it, and I apologize to those that were affected, whether I like them and respect them or not, because that's the right thing to do, and that's what a man does. And so what do I need to talk to you about? I need to talk to you about the Dan Crenshaw situation. As many of you know, he sent me a cease and desist, threatened to sue me. I made a rebuttal. I invited him on the show. Then he challenged me. I accepted. I said, okay, perfect. January 2nd.
It's tomorrow.
To come on this show, you have to sign a release form. Just about everybody let me rephrase that. Everybody that's been on this show since around episode 10 has signed a release form. President Trump, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, Joe Kent, lots of very important people, much more important than a congressman, have signed that release form. Everybody that has been interviewed in the new studio has signed the exact same release form. So, Dan Driscoll, Secretary of the Army, signed the exact same release form. Mike Waltz, former National Security Advisor and Ambassador to the UN, signed the exact same release form just a few days ago. Dan and his attorneys, they don't want to sign the release form. They want special concessions. We sent them that release form on December 26th. They then sent a bunch of red lines. We said, we're not making any special circumstances or modifying our release form for the congressman. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. But we will make some special concessions for his protection on another document and send that over. Well, they have yet to sign either one of those documents. I have to have those documents signed to interview somebody. Everybody's done it. I talked to my attorney. I said, I think this is what's going to happen. They are going to wait until close of business on New Year's Eve to send some type of a communication in hopes that we don't get it, because who the hell is checking their email at 10 o'clock at night on New Year's Eve? Well, guess what? We get an email at 10 o'clock at night from Dan's campaign manager on New Year's Eve, where the next day is a national holiday and nobody's behind their desk. And the next day, it's game day, it's interview time. They said, we've booked the hotel that you've recommended. Will somebody be there to pick us up? There was no mention
did Dan
of the
not
release
show?
forms. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to come here and they're going to make a big stink on how I didn't interview them and how I was scared to interview them or whatever, but they're hiding behind the paperwork. And so now this is what's going to happen. Dan, I am now redacting my invitation for you to come on my show. I gave you the opportunity to be a man. You didn't take it. I gave you the opportunity to speak to 5.5 million people and prove to them that you are not insider trading. That's a fucking gift.
Yep.
I might add.
Massive platform.
A gift that not very many people get, and you turned it down. I'm not going to interview you now. I don't play games. I handle shit like a man. You know, here's another thing. When we talked to your campaign manager, they said, oh, we send a lot of these letters out.
All right. I didn't realize this. This is hot. I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow. Here's what I know. I believe Sean 100% because I know what Dan has done to other people I know personally about coming on their shows, and he's done the same fucking bullshit. So I 100% believe Sean is telling the truth with that. And also, Sean's got a man like this. Sean is doing Dan a favor. Sean is 10 times more relevant than Dan Crenshaw is. So, and also, what fucking paperwork can't you sign? It's probably a regular release form that allows him to use whatever content you film together. That's the way it goes. And what a fucking piece of shit, dude. So I'm probably going to cover that one tomorrow. That's wild. That just came out. I think Dan Campbell in here just asked that if you thought that was old. No, Sean posted that 4 hours ago. That's brand new. He was supposed to interview him tomorrow. I thought it was coming tomorrow, and apparently, yeah. All right, let's keep moving here. Let's see where we were at. Oh, I think okay. That was actually got us to the end of our year in review. Obviously, we could go on forever. There's been a million things that have happened, but those were the big ones, guys. Now, I want to get into predictions for what is coming up in the new year, and we will do some polls. I want to see what you guys think. I've got my own predictions of things I believe are going to happen this year. Okay? Do you guys want to go through these? Predictions are always fun. Some of them, World War. Everybody immediately said World War. I hope not, guys. I fucking hope not. I don't have World War III on my list, so let's hope not. All right, let's get into some predictions, okay? We'll do some polls as well. And we'll go over these together. All right, first one we're going to do is I believe Kash Patel and Pam Bondi will be the first two members of Donald Trump's cabinet that are fired in the new year. I believe Pam Bondi will go first, and I believe Kash Patel will follow fairly quickly after that. Now, what this could entail is a reassignment, okay? Because Trump loyalists like Mike Waltz, even when he was removed from National Security Advisor, got moved to be a where'd they move him to be work at some embassy or something? I don't remember exactly. But the loyalists usually get some bullshit other position that's irrelevant, that won't be, it's not going to be relevant to anything. No responsibilities. So that's going to be one of my first predictions. Pam and Kash both get fired or reassigned, and I believe they will both go before anyone else in the Trump administration goes. Thoughts on that, chat? Looks like the poll is showing about 77% of people believe yes, that will happen. About 23% say no, it will not happen. For those, that's 1 in 4 people believe that neither of them are going to be fired, or maybe both of them won't be fired. It'd be interesting to hear why the people who said no, why you think that neither of them will be fired. But I do think Pam Bondi's going first, and I think Kash will follow after that. And Pam has been absolutely worthless. She's accomplished nothing. That's the big reason why I think she's going. And then Kash, you're seeing him starting to go on podcasts and do all this stuff. It seems like he's setting himself up to potentially, again, be removed. All right. Okay. We're good on that one. Next prediction, I believe, and this is more of Trump's cabinet, that Pete Hegseth actually survives. I don't think Trump gets rid of Pete Hegseth. I know with all of the controversy and all of the fuck-ups, I think Pete Hegseth goes the distance. I think Donald Trump loves Hegseth. I think he loves having a sec war who will literally do anything he says and won't push back on him at all, especially after having people like Mattis, who basically told him to go fuck himself half the time. I think Trump loves the fact that Hegseth has no backbone to stand up for anything, and that he will do anything he is told. So that's my prediction there, is that member of Trump's cabinet actually does at least make it through this year. I don't know what you guys think. But Miller, too, that's a good one. I think Miller will probably also make it through. Trump loves him as well. But I think Hegseth stays. I think Hegseth, he weathers the storms, and I think it doesn't matter how fucked up he is. I think Trump's going to keep him around. All right. Get your polls in quick. We're going to move on to the next one here. 70% agree with me. We're going so well. All right, chat's agreeing with me so far. All right, this next one is kind of low-hanging fruit, I guess. I'm not sure this is really that difficult of a prediction, but we're going to make it anyway. And that is Democrats sweep the House and Senate in 2026. I think that the Republicans lose both the House. The Senate might be a toss-up. The House for sure. And I believe the Democrats sweep in 2026. Now, is this that big? Is this like that impressive of a prediction? No, because we can go to the Kalshi odds, right? The Kalshi odds show almost 80-20 right now. This is the actual betting odds. And if you ever want to know where people really have their heads, look where they're putting their money. And so this isn't like anything impressive for me to guess. This is what everybody is already assuming. But yeah, I think it's almost guaranteed. Democrats definitely sweep the House unless something crazy happens, and then most likely the Senate as well. Okay, are we good? Got your votes in, guys? We're going with our next prediction. This will be. I didn't do this last year. All right, next one. This one I'm gonna say happens probably by the back half of 2026. And that is War with Iran 2.0. Electric Boogaloo. We've already seen a lot of the writing on the wall. We've already seen a bunch of stuff like this. Donald Trump just said this a couple days ago. Trump warning, world on edge as Trump threatens Iran with obliteration over nuclear sites. Right? We're seeing all this type of stuff coming the other way out of Iran. Iran's president saying full-fledged war with America, Israel, and Europe. And then Iran claiming that they're stronger now than they ever were during the 12-day war. How am I defining war? However Washington defines it. So we're not doing the literal declaration of war as in the fact we haven't been to war since World War II. Okay. We'll call it a conflict. Okay. Conflict, war, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Not like an actual declaration of war, but a, typical the last 12-day war, a conflict, right? We'll go back into conflict with Iran. Not again, doesn't mean necessarily Congress declares war or whatever, but as we would typically call it in our day-to-day lives, war, right? So that's where I'm going to say, I believe here's where it's a little dicey with this one. It's so politically unpopular that in the midterm election year, I think Donald Trump really is going to not want to. But also, I think if our greatest ally tells him to, then he'll fucking do it. Even if it destroys Republicans into the midterms, they probably will still do it. But it is a very, very unpopular political opinion to take. It'll absolutely destroy Republicans' chances in 2026. It'll obliterate their chances. And so part of me thinks if it doesn't happen, it'll be strictly a political thing, and we'll probably see it happen immediately following the 2026 elections. For sure. Definitely by the end of Trump's presidency. 100%. I would say 99% by the end of Trump's presidency. But in the next year, here's another one. All right. Next one is how do I get the poll? Oh, here we go. This one I actually don't know. I'm 50-50 on this one, but I want to get your guys' take on it. See what you guys think. And so this isn't really a prediction. This is more of just getting the community's thoughts on this one. And this one has been long coming, and that Israel destroyed Gaza. Do they then move on and take the West Bank? We know they want it. They want it bad. It's the reason why they gave Trump $250 million. I believe they'll 100% take it by the end of Trump's term. But is it going to happen this year? Gaza's been absolutely destroyed. Do they have the gall, the audacity to take West Bank in 2026? I think there's a decent chance. Again, it's going to be so politically unpopular in the United States, but I don't think they give a fuck. I don't think they care. They could care less about what Trump thinks or what Republicans think or what Americans think. I think they're going to do whatever they want to do. And it's on the docket. Like the Greater Israel Project is a real thing. They will take it, but will they take it in 2026? In again the midterm election year, this is where these foreign conflict ones get tricky because politics get involved. So I'm 50-50 on this one, guys. I don't have a great feeling about it. You guys actually, this one is 82-18. So you guys really think they'll go for it. That's actually interesting to me. More people thought that they're going to try to take the West Bank than will go back to war with Iran. Actually, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, next one. And I think this is very likely. Very likely. Large. Now, this can be, before you vote, organic or false flag. It can be either one. The media is going to tell us this is what it is. Large-scale Islamic T-word attack. I think this is extremely likely in the next year. Extremely likely, given the buildup following Zoran being elected and the Islamophobia push in the country. I think this is massively likely. And again, this could be false flag. This could be real. It could be organic. Okay. I'm just saying that we see a massive event like this. Doesn't have to be in the United States. Okay. Could be somewhere in the West. UK, Australia, America, Canada, France. I just think it's, given what we're seeing, given also the environment and the fact that our greatest ally has literally lost the plot. They have no support from America. I think this is going to be potentially one of the plays they go for. And these are great. Somebody said this brought me into the second point. I think this is a great point, that it is connected to Iran, and this also becomes a reason, which brings us into the conflict with Iran, the second conflict. I think there's a decent possibility this is how this will be used, just like he mentioned. I don't know for sure, but I think it's extremely likely, guys. So that's going to be my guess on that one. You guys as well, we're in the 84, 85-ish %. Think yes as well. Okay, next one, a little bit of political stuff. Let's see. Let's see. How do I say this? All right. We'll do it this way for the poll, and we'll talk about it. Let's see. Let me get the whole thing here. Let's see. Who's my number 5? Here we go. All right. Who do you think is most likely, or who will announce their presidential campaign first? I believe all 4 of these people will announce their presidential campaign by the end of 2026. Who do you guys think announces it first between these 4? I think these 4 for sure announce it at the end of the year or by the end of the year. Who do you think announces it first? Vance, Newsom, looks like it's going back and forth. So I believe it's Ted Cruz because he's a re. Yeah, I believe all 4 of them will announce. Who's first? I think Gavin Newsom. I think Gavin Newsom puts his hat in first, and this is formally announces it. They come out and say, I am running for president. Not hinting at it. Not, well, maybe, maybe not. Like literally comes out and says, I am running for president. Ted already did. No way Ted already did he? That'd be hilarious. I didn't know he did. Oh, there you go. Okay, maybe Ted beat him. Ted beat him. Wow, what the audacity of that guy. Cruz announced that in the first year of a Republican presidency. I didn't realize he had actually officially announced it. I don't know if that's true. I know he's talked about it, but I don't know if he's come out and said, I am running for president in 2028 with the official announcement. Tel Aviv Ted. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see what you guys thought. Newsom, the number 1, JD Vance behind it. All right. And this is my last big prediction. This one I think is more of a ballsy one to call. All right. Last one before we wrap it up. Move the super chats. Not going to be a long stream tonight. I'm saying I believe the Russia-Ukraine war will end in 2026. I think it's actually going to end. I think it's getting close. And again, this is more of a bold take. Most people are going to say they don't believe this. This is where I'm kind of like getting out over my skis a little bit. And again, this is just my guess. But that I do think that this may be the year that it actually ends. I hope it ends, guys. God, I hope it ends. We should all want it to end. We should not want that war to continue. It's fucking horrific. But I'm praying it does. I wish it would have in the first 24 hours. Remember that promise? But that's again, this is more of a gamble for me, right? Where it's much less likely. I think it's much less likely that it's less likely to end than not. But I'm gonna gamble against the odds on this one and make that my one risky pick, for 2026. And looks like you guys also believe that that's a risky pick. Nearly 70% of people disagree with me. They do not believe that it will end. And I don't blame you. I think, why am I lagging? Jesus. I think the safe pick is that it doesn't end. So, but I hope it does. So that's my big one. Okay. That's going to wrap the show up tonight. Again, New Year's Day. Just wanted to get on here, have a little bit of fun. Obviously, just a year in review. No big topics. Just hanging out with you guys. Enjoying our night together. So that'll wrap up the regular show. We're going to hit the super chats. And we are going to then move on. Nice. This is the way the streams are supposed to be, guys. Nice 2-hour show. Wrap it up with some super chats, and we're out of here in 2.5 hours. Keep me from doing those 6 to 8 hour streams that we shouldn't be doing. Tomorrow, we are still going to go live. We are going to cover the Trigger Smarts shape charge microphone battery theory. That was a big one that was going on last week. It's very interesting. Not to say I believe it necessarily, but I think it's one of the more compelling ones. There's some problems with it, but I think it'll be a fun one. So tomorrow we'll get kind of into the weeds with that. We're going to look at some of the fucked up stuff that's still happening with the security team. Yeah, should be a good show. All right. So let's move into super chats. For those of you who are just here for the regular part of the episode, thank you very much. And if hopefully I see y'all tomorrow. And yeah, let's jump into it. Rest of the super chats, and then we'll get out of here. Thank you all very much. Happy New Year's, by the way, to everybody. Loved having you guys here again. It's a holiday, and so I don't have, I didn't have much to do, so I'm glad to been able to spend the New Year's Eve night or the New Year's night with you guys. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let me get back to where I was on the super chats. And I think it's this one. Wait, was it here? All right, here we go. Varun Cruzy love you, Nate. Sorry, I don't have any money to give. Love you though. Sorry, but love you. Merry Christmas, Varun. Well, thank you. I mean, you did donate, guys. Don't ever feel like you need to donate money. If it's not just because you want to do it and you have excess money and you like the show and you want to support, do not donate money to me, please. Okay. I would much rather, if you need the money, that you're using it for more important stuff than me. Okay. But I love you guys regardless. But yeah, thank you. Jimmy, everything is juice boxes. Manipulation. Benefiting. Feels that way sometimes. Bobby says, as a former Gulf War veteran, Gaza destruction broke my heart. Yeah, and I think it hasn't got all the veterans yet, right? Still a lot of veterans who are on our greatest ally side, that fought the wars, but a lot have moved to the other side for sure, Bobby. Stefan with the big $50 donation. Thank you very much. What's your opinion on we talked about this a little bit on the tax revolt 2026. As for me and my beautiful wife, Patricia, we're redacting our tax statements. You are ballsy. You are ballsy, man. You guys are ballsy. Look, you guys, you're all grown-ups. I will say this, as the government don't fucking play, right? The government is the biggest crime syndicate mafia. The American government is the biggest mafia crime syndicate in the world. And when they want their fucking money, they will get it. So be careful out there. All right. Be careful out there. If they come looking for it, like they'll get it one way or another. Vet here can't support the Gaza annihilation. Sad. I agree with you on that, Blackwater. Laura says the biggest news story is Charlie Kirk because it woke us up to all the other news stories. It did have that effect on a lot of people for sure. With all that destruction in Gaza, and they still can't end H. Think about it. What's H? They still can't. With all that destruction, they still can't end H. Grant, I'm not sure what you tried to say here. Somebody in chat know what he's saying? Am I missing it? Sorry, Grand Bear. I'm not sure what you were saying here. Somebody in the chat will tell me. Can't end. It's got 4. I'm not sure what that is. H. Oh. Hamas. Yeah. Well, if you call, here's the thing: you just call everybody Hamas, and then you have to kill everybody to get rid of them. It's convenient, isn't it? 2025. You forgot to mention Jim Wang. Yes, for the channel, Dr. Wang was definitely one of the big moments on this channel for sure. Wilson says, with Charlie out of the way, TPUSA can now get all of that Zionist money, the opposite of what Charlie wanted, betraying their profit of 30 pieces of silver. Someone ought to write a book. And yes, they have immediately turned it into a Zionist shill organization in the name of Charlie Kirk, which is sad to see. All right, let's see what we got here. Did we ever get Jimmy some Tren? We might have to. Money sent to. Yeah, this is like Q stuff, brother. Appreciate you, Jimmy, but that's hard for me to read. Stay safe out there, brother. God bless. Thank you, Professor. Do you remember the Matt Livelsberger story? You know, that story got real fucking weird recently because it turns out he had a manifesto and Pete Hegseth and the Department of War announced that they were going to keep it classified. Why? Why would you cover that up? Just another. Yeah, we should have talked about that story. That's another one I forgot. Just another more government corruption and cover-ups. Shalom Maloya is escape. That brother. What is this? What is this talk? Is this Q talk? Cody, thank you, brother. If I'm being honest, knowing our own money is funding the genocide has put me in a moral spiritual war. The level of evil around is just wild. The killing of any children can in no way be justified. And I mean, it makes it 1,000 times worse that our tax dollars pay for it, at least in my opinion. Absolutely hate that. 33-star flag at recent AmFest. Wanderer, funny how revolution always precedes regime change wars. Yes, it does. And you notice how we didn't talk about this because I was looking at doing a video about the Iranian revolution that's going on right now. Revolution. And yes, it's funny how there's always, and we do it, right? This is part of the CIA Green Beret model, is overthrowing governments, is doing shit like this. But yeah, right before we go to war with some country, there's always some type of revolution that kicks off. Because then they can say, oh, all you got to do is invade and topple the regime and everybody will rise up. And every time they do that, we do that, nobody rises up, turns out. So, at least not historically. Sorry, didn't finish it. Jesse Triggersmart. I emailed you, Jesse, and Triggersmart a link for a Frange 30-06, by the way. Took forever to find. I think Jesse and Heavy Duty Country found some frangible rounds. I think they're doing a test of them. When the Pope is calling out our greatest ally in bloodshed, you know things are crazy. America first, don't let establishment hijack it. Purple Duck Party. Love your shirt. Thank you. Yeah, the Pope did call it out, by the way. And you know what they called the Pope? Did you guys see my episode on that? They called the Pope anti-Semitic. Because he literally called for a 2-state solution. So they called him anti-Semitic. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody's anti-Semitic. The Pope's fucking anti-Semitic. Miss Rachel and the Pope. It's like you can't take these fucking people seriously. All right. Specialty deal, slightly damp antique Mormon hand-loaded frangible rounds, only available by special order, valid only in Utah. Sold as is, no returns. Yeah. Late getting here, Nate. Happy New Year to you and your family. Thank you, Zena. Appreciate you. Happy New Year, Nate. Why do we never hear about the ear assassin? We know that Trump. Oh, I see what you're saying. What's his name? Fucking forget his name. the little weirdo that tried to shoot Trump. Chad will get it. Oh, sorry. What was his name? Brain farting. Chat, help me out. Thomas Crooks. Thomas Crooks. That's right. There it is. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know why we don't hear any more about that. Just like we don't hear anymore about all the other things we talked about. We know that Trump won't let shit go ever. Why has the story disappeared? He never talked about it again. Isn't that funny? You're right. Psyops have begun to make Erica Kirk the first female president. Yeah, I don't know. That might be a stretch. Gonzola Light Lira. I don't know what that means on me. But thank you. Appreciate you. Joe says, Nate, of all the three-letter agencies, I fear the IRS the most. Just saying, LL, yeah. I think we all should. As regular Americans, that's the fucking mafia. It's the IRS that's going to come get you. Like the FBI, the CIA. If you're like a prominent person, you know, we can see what happens to that. But everyday Americans, yeah, the IRS is the fucking bad guy for sure, guys. Ugh. Scary. Normal people, you don't want to fuck with the IRS. Yeah, you guys know, unless you're Epstein. Yeah, unless you're rich. If you're fucking rich and powerful, then it's funny how that dichotomy works. Like if you're a regular American, the IRS is the scariest agency, but rich people are like, fuck the IRS. What are they going to do? But if you're like somebody super rich and powerful, then the CIA becomes the sketchiest one, right? So interesting. Off-topic question, but I'm curious. Do you believe the Trump assassination attempt in Butler was faked? Well, we just got to say it. Faked? No, I don't believe it was faked. As in it didn't happen, as if like a round didn't go off, because, I mean, there was a man killed behind Trump. Do I think it was some type of setup? 100%. By who? I'm not sure. Probably someone who wanted to make sure Donald Trump got a message. I think a message was sent that day. And I think based off of what we've seen in this first term, I think we can understand that message was received, at least in my opinion. It was also great politically for Trump. Probably won him the election, to be honest. So do I think it was some dipshit kid, Thomas Crooks, by himself, just like Tyler Robinson? Tyler Robinson, lone gunman on the roof. Do I think he was Thomas Crooks, lone gunman on the roof by himself? No, absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. I think 0% chance on both of those. That just these dipshit young kids pulled this off by themselves. I just don't believe that. Pimbla says, thanks for speaking for Gaza. Like you mentioned, you have been in war zones. You have a good voice for this. The other topics are a bit more American-centric. I've been talking about this for a long time. I've been talking about, I mean, I don't remember when, but I mean, it was a few months after October 7th, and I started seeing what was happening. The response to October 7th is what really sort of shifted me all the way over to the other side. U.S. Airman accidentally shot his bud and blamed 320. Yeah, I thought for sure that, so what he did is he used the controversy that was happening, but we don't really know. Here's the thing. There's no video evidence of any of it. Supposedly what happened was the gun went off, he killed his buddy, and he said it was just the 320 going off on its own. Turns out maybe that's not true, which is it's an excuse to try to use, right? Because at that time there was a bunch of 320s going off in holsters. But again, we didn't really get any actual video proof of that, I don't believe. So, but yeah. Illegal to get a handy in a Waymo. Is the Waymo the driverless taxis? I don't know, dude. This is like, I don't know. Good question. Ask your attorney. Naughty says, hail tier. Thank you, brother. Edgar says, hey, man, hoping for some good old firearms content back again. How do you feel about battle rifles, new LMT, MRGGA, Fall, Army, SIG, shitter? Haven't used any of them yet, man, so I can't really give an opinion on it. Hard here in the winter because our range is underwater. Or the range I use, my buddy's range down the road. Brian, who was in the Charlie Kirk 30-06 testing video. That's his range, right down the street for me. And it's underwater during the winter, so it's hard for me to get out there and do a lot of stuff during the fall, winter. Really enjoy your sarcastic breakdown videos. Appreciate it, Chevy. Rammer donated 5 Valhalla memberships. Thank you very much. I need to start doing something with the memberships, figuring out how other channels do it. Maybe talk to some of the mods. Maybe you guys know how they do stuff with memberships. I've never really even thought about memberships. But like doing membership only streams, I think would be cool. So we'll look into that. Nate, I'm Muslim and a law student from Georgia, yet I agree with 99% of your views and beliefs. God bless you. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Shabbat Shalom. When are we moving our White House to Jerusalem? Oh, yeah. You know what's it's so funny is that, like, this is a super funny joke, but also, like, we're almost at the point where if this got announced, you'd be like, yeah, makes sense. It's crazy, dude. Saw Private Snuffy talking to Elvis at TPUSA while JFK was talking about the moon landing on Epstein Island. Prove me wrong. Happy New Year, Nate. Thank you, the original. I appreciate you, brother. Ozzy says, Ben and Nick have never been punched in the face, and it shows. 101st Raxon vet here jumped on the Valhalla member bandwagon tonight, 2026. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. And thank you for your service, man. Is it just me or does Erica Kirk give Bride of Chucky vibes? I've seen those memes. There's a bunch of those memes, and they're actually really accurate. It's fucked up. But prediction for 2026, Israel becomes a daycare open for business. They don't even need to, man. They don't need the fraud. Netanyahu just flies to the White House. He literally just did this 3 days ago, walks in, hands Donald Trump a fake peace prize, and asks for $78 billion. That's all he's going to do. He literally just did exactly that. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not being satirical. That exact thing literally just happened this week. It's not a joke. That's literally where we're at. He just shows up with a silver menorah, hands it to Trump, and says, I need $78 billion, please. Thank you. That actually just happened. It's almost like it's not even real world, but it's the real world. Fucking crazy. It doesn't matter who's in office. The American people are fucked. Sweep, we're fucked. No sweep, we're fucked. Stealing our money, never going to change. I mean, yeah, how does it change, right? Like, the system is so fucked up. It's going to take, I think it's going to take America, like, economically collapsing completely, which I don't know if we'll see in our lifetime, but we are definitely on the downward approach right now. But I'm an American, guys, and like those of you, probably a lot of you like me, like I'm burning in with the ship. I'm going down with the ship. Like, I'm not like some of these other content creators talking about how they're going to move to China or wherever. Like, I'm going down with it, boys. I'm burning in with it all the way to fucking Civil War apocalypse if it happens. So I'm here. I'm in it for the long haul with you guys because I love America. So even as fucked up as it is, love the American people really more than I love America. But yeah. Do you think Trump will do a Bibi Zelensky Maduro war, refuse to leave office? No, I don't think so. Nah, gotta hope not. Oh, but at this point, fuck. Is he more likely to do it than any other president that we've ever had? Yes. God, who knows? I say no because that's what, like, the normal common sense thing would say, but then you start to think about it and you're like, fuck. Maybe. All right. 22 Cream says, hi, brother. It's your friendly Navy or your friendly SEAL changed names. 2 things. How was your Robin Sage? Any stories? Also, do you look up Dusty Turner, please? He needs help. Dusty Turner. You'd have to get me more context than just his name. I loved Robin Sage. It was my absolute favorite part of the qualification course. So cool. It's so unique. Nothing else in the military like it. Guys, if you don't know what Robin Sage is, I'm not going to get into it. It takes a long time to explain. But yeah, a lot of good stories. But that's for another time. We had one of the best stories we had was during a black market meet. Black market meet, guys, where you go to, like, buy guns from the black market, because essentially during Robin Sage you're overthrowing a government. right? That's what you're there to do as a Green Beret. And so you're like getting weapons and things like that. And at one of the black market meets, sometimes you get rolled up, which means like rolled up as in you get taken prisoner. So they tried to roll us up, and then we had one of our guerrilla force members, which is guys that are just a part of the special forces qualification course that are earlier in the course, and they're there as role players. One of our role players was a collegiate wrestler, and when they tried to roll us up, the first guy, this poor like non-military guy from North Carolina, like 40-year-old dude, like grabs him to try to roll him up, and he just like hip checks this dude, throws him over the top of his shoulder, like head first into the cement. And like this actual brawl breaks out between us and the role players, and the cadre had to like break it all up. And you can get in trouble for that, but our cadre were cool. They were like, "That's fucking badass." So they actually let us go. They didn't roll us up. So anyway, a little bit long-winded, but yeah, our young role player just fucked this dude up, which he wasn't supposed to do. But he didn't get in trouble. But anyway, sorry that was a little long-winded. But yeah, awesome. My favorite part of the entire course. Taiwan versus China in 2026. Interesting. Not one of my predictions. I don't think that war is happening anytime soon. Just coming from my experience, and that was sort of my lane when I was in first group. But you never know. You never know. I think that one's a long game plan for them, though. All right, BMU, what's up, brother? Happy New Year, brother. Been down with the flu catching up. Me too, dude. Dude, I've been so beat up. I'm just finally starting to get over it. Will Tyler Robinson be convicted? Oh, now that would have been a prediction. Should we do a poll on this one, guys? This is a poll. This isn't whether you think he's guilty, whether you think he did it. Will he be convicted, do you think? Yeah, this is a good one. I like this prediction. Will he be predicted? Again, not do you think he's innocent, not do you think he's guilty, do you think they will convict him of murder? I'll let you guys, before I give my take on that, I'll let you guys get some votes in. Question, who's taller, Ben or Cash? Oh. I've seen Nick Fuentes next to, like, sort of standing next to Ben, and he looked about like 4 inches taller than Ben. And I think Nick Fuentes is maybe 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" maybe. So I want to say Ben's probably around 5'5", and I think Cash is probably around like 5'2", 5'3". I'm not trying to be rude. I think that's objectively about how tall he is. Maybe 5'4". That's what I think. I think Cash is maybe an inch or two shorter than Ben, but they're both very, very little. Very little. Okay. All right. Let me give you my take on Tyler Robinson, the trial. I think because it's in Utah, depending on who they get for a jury, it is being such a like hyper conservative religious area. I think Tyler Robinson has the cards stacked against him heavily with the jury. And so I think even if it's just with the evidence we have now, I could see them convicting him. Even if all of us are like, don't believe that he's potentially guilty, even if the evidence is like, man, I really don't think I could see in Utah. I think they're going to convict him no matter what. That's what I see happening. Just because of where it's going to happen. I could just see that zealot evangelical base just saying, fuck this guy. So that would be my guess. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, I think being in Utah is it's going to be an uphill battle for him for sure. But we'll find out. Or we won't. Who fucking knows at this point? If he makes it to trial, I still think there's a possibility he doesn't make it to trial. Is it just me? But every time someone mentions Fort Huachaca, I hear Fort Hoctua. Anyone else? Okay, that's actually pretty funny. BMU says also Tim Waltz is an R word. Yeah, he hates it when you call him that, by the way. Could Butler have been faked? We talked about that earlier. Faked, I don't think it was faked, but I do think it was organized and set up for sure. Glad to see and hear that more of us glad to see and hear that more of us see that the United States government is nothing more than another high-powered mafia conglomerate. And no, I'm not paying taxes. Yeah, I mean, the U.S. government's the biggest violent monopoly on violence, criminal mafia enterprise in world history. And it's not even fucking close. If you watch my video today, if you haven't watched my video today, you should go watch it. Basically talks about all the America Last bullshit, but I actually broke down all of the countries that the United States and our greatest ally have bombed this year. And it's a shit ton. It's like 10, 15 countries. We don't talk about the fact that we just bomb and kill whoever the fuck we want, whenever we do, and whenever we want, and nobody can do anything about it. It's not great. Hail tier. All right, we'll take it. Casey, the car, America First, running for Ohio governor. Is that who's running against Vivek? I know Vivek is losing in the polls right now for that. All right. Way off topic. Can you explain the difference between Green Berets and Rangers? Sorry if that's a dumbass question. It's not a dumbass question. I mean, it's yes, I've got multiple videos explaining all of this in detail if you go back in my content. Think of it this way. Rangers are like a very highly skilled infantry style unit. Okay, they're not infantry necessarily, but light infantry type unit. So you have like 50 to 60 Rangers who will go out together to do combat operations, right? All Americans for the most part. Whereas Green Berets, we actually work by, with, and through a partner force or a foreign nation. So you actually only have 12 Green Berets who then take Iraqis or Afghanis. That's what I did in Afghanistan, like 50 to 60 Afghans. And we actually lead them with 12 of us and go fight a war or go fight, go do combat operations with just 12 of us on the ground with a bunch of foreign nation fighters. It's actually super fucking sketchy. It's the most sketchy thing you can do in the military, because you're just kind of out there with with not very many Americans and a lot of foreign nation fighters. So that's the biggest difference between the two. There's a ton of other differences, but I have an entire video on literally the difference between Green Berets and Rangers if you want to go watch it and find it. All right. Jenna says the Department of Education just sent out emails for anyone not paying student loans that they will be garnished for wages. Yep, we talked about that on Tuesday. That is going to happen. America first, baby. But don't worry, $78 billion going to our greatest ally. But pay up, students, you little fuckers. Oh, you know who has free education, though? Universal free education. Oh, that's right. Our greatest ally. Cool. Sweet, dude. Anyway, yeah. It's so sick of this shit. I'm sure all of you are fucking sick of watching this happen, but hey, Nate, do you think of increasing layoffs what do you think of increasing layoffs in 2026 and the recession beginning? I'm starting to buy silver and gold due to de-dollarization. Silver, guys. Oh my God. Silver is on an absolute tear. Silver, and I'm looking at investing in silver soon because silver is looking to be one of the best investments in the future, not just from a getting off the dollar standard investment, but also silver is so valuable with modern technology as well. I think silver is a great investment. Also, it's like tripled in value recently, though. So it's sketchy because it's gone up so much in such a more short amount of time. But I think investing in silver is a great idea. I know my dad invests a lot in silver, but I'm looking at doing that too. I think silver is a really smart investment going forward. Silver and gold both. As for a recession, I don't know if we're going to see a recession just because everything's still so propped up. The stock market's still so propped up artificially by all these AI companies that GDP looks way higher than it actually is, because what you have is you have all these giant tech companies, NVIDIA, Oracle, Microsoft, Google, that are basically all just selling shit to each other, right? Like NVIDIA is selling the chips to Oracle, Oracle sells the servers to Microsoft, Microsoft sells the AI platforms back to NVIDIA, et cetera, that like it's just artificially making the GDP way higher than it actually is. And so it's going to make it to where like an actual recession will be harder to actually see, even though we're feeling it as Americans, because none of that fucking trading in the top 6 companies in the world, none of that shovels down to us. So we feel like we're in a recession, but the actual GDP metrics, I don't know if we'll technically be in one. So sorry, that's a little bit long-winded. That's my feelings on that. What's your perspective on Trump alienating our European allies? I mean, I think our European allies, they might need to be alienated at this point because they don't seem to want to cooperate either. Although I think it's important for us to have allies in Europe. You know, NATO has been a fucking problem. And so, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens going forward. I do like having strong alliances. I don't want to give fucking money to these people, but I do like having strong alliances, strong trade agreements. Those things are beneficial to America. But how about like not give billions of dollars to all these fucking countries for no reason? I think that needs to stop as soon as possible. Will TPUSA implode? No, because TPUSA survives off donors. Okay, they're not profit. They're not surviving off YouTube revenue. They're not surviving off of memberships. They're surviving off massive fucking donors, political donors, our greatest allied donors. And so it doesn't really matter to TPUSA. Like, they're not functioning as a business to where they need to keep making money because they're taking all their money off donations. And the powers that be that are funding TPUSA are going to keep funding them because they're good mouthpieces, good Hasbro mouthpieces. So they're going to keep getting donations from the Zionist front. So I think they'll be just fine. I don't think they'll be relevant. They'll be nowhere near as relevant as they were with Charlie, but I don't think they're going under because they're just going to keep getting shit tons of private donations. All right, crazy 2025 for you. I literally pulled a liberal L hating guns, a liberal L hating guns, and now I own 9. Hey man, once you if you don't like firearms, like once you get into it, most people this is what happens to. Once you get 1 or 2, all of a sudden you have 9. Not me. I don't have any. I lost them all in a boating accident. Unfortunately, out at the lake. Had all like 19 of them on the boat with me at the time. The boat went under, and it's sad. Sad times. But so no, I don't own any. Other than the ones if you try to break into my house, then you're gonna find out that's not true. But you know, I digress. For the ATF watching, I don't have any. Not very many, at least. Okay, let's move on. Do you think the CK shooting was supposed to be like Butler, but someone messed up? No, I think they pulled it off the way they wanted to. And look at the chaos that's ensued since. We have no idea really at the end of the day what happened. And that's to me is successful. If you're the person or the organization or the people behind that hit, that's insanely successful. Right? Because we have no fucking clue who did it at this point. So I would say they did at least CK's. Yeah, I think it was far better job done than Butler. Is Bezmenov's stream still planned? Oh, Yuri Bezmenov? I don't think we would do it as a whole stream, but we probably talk about it on like a segment when it comes up, relevancy. We haven't really gotten much into Soviet stuff or communist stuff lately. Maybe if some stuff with China picks back up or Russia. I mean, it's not going to pick back up with Russia because they're in a war with Ukraine, but we'll get to it eventually. Guarantee they convict Tyler. Otherwise, they would have to admit who really did it or make up an entire new story, which would be too much work. Yeah, you think about that. What happens if he's not guilty? What are you going to do, FBI? You going to go find the killer now? Because you were done with the investigation in 48 hours. They don't have any other suspects. They don't have any leads. The FBI said, this guy did it. We know. We're moving on. So if it turns out he wasn't the shooter or he gets found not guilty, I don't know what the hell they're going to do. It's going to be rough. But good point. One out now, bro. Seriously, I know I fought in Afghanistan. I wasn't as big stones as you guys, but between CK 9/11, the fraud, etc., I'm ready to go. I know, brother. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for all of us, man. I get you. All right, one more, and then we're about done. Pretty good stream, less than 3 hours. I'm proud of us tonight, guys. Nice short stream. on this nice New Year's. Let's not forget the idle loans small businesses, or IEDL loans small businesses have to struggle to pay back while we watch our government help the world instead of us. Just saying. Yeah, how about but again, if you call for something like, hey, I would rather, instead of that $78 billion going to our greatest ally, let's just pay off everyone's student loans. And guys, I paid off my own student loans, my bachelor's degree, but I would much rather have my tax dollars used to pay off my fellow American student loans than shift off to foreign fucking countries to bomb Muslims. Me personally. I would rather my tax dollars get used for that. You can call me a socialist or a communist for that if you want. That's fine. But I think that's a much better use of our money. Or fix the homeless problem. Or house homeless vets. Do fucking something. Something. That's not just giving hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign countries. But, what are we going to do? So, all right. We did it, guys. Again, under 3 hours. Very, very proud of myself. This has been a fun one. Glad that you guys could show up on this holiday. I know most people are, with their families and everything, but glad that we were able to get together and do a fun year in review, get our predictions, and we will be back tomorrow with more relevant content. Again, we're going to be checking out the new big Charlie Kirk assassination theory. I've been wrapping my brain around it, working on it. So check it out tomorrow, 5 p.m. Might have a episode on Pam Bondi, or what was the other one I was thinking about? I don't remember. Tomorrow morning. If you haven't checked out my video from today, you should go check it out. I think it was a pretty good one. And yeah, guys, Happy New Year to everyone. Let's whatever you're gonna do in the new year, New Year's resolution. Mine is always to be more kind to people. I've been trying to do that. The older I've gotten, and so that's always my New Year's resolution. So that's what I would suggest to you guys. If you don't have one, make it to just be more kind, because the world and the country could use that right now. So love you guys, and I will catch y'all tomorrow if you're going to be around. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Happy New Year's.